Awesome. Right. Last session, we dived back into our little world north of Waterdeep. You gathered, some of you at Tressendar Manor, others awaiting further north. All of you having received a missive from Clan Archelon, specifically Jorek's sister, Archelon Kadra, appealing to your friendship, your bond that you formed with the noble Paladin of Bahamut in your previous ventures. It didn't take long for you to leap into action. You head north to Neverwinter City, taking in the sights and sounds of a city perhaps not quite at its best, gathering up your associate Grey, and taking a unique ship vessel north along the coast, meeting Captain Kate Thunderheart and her eclectic crew, with Scum somehow stealing the spotlight. You battled off some minor adversaries who had grossly underestimated the defenses of this small sailing ship, and before long, a couple of days, you found yourselves in Luskan, whereupon you met up once more with your faithful friend Blam Wolfhorn and decided to get the fuck out of this scummy city. You left Luskan and are now finding yourselves, as we speak, upon the road to Mirabar. Now, before I shift us over, I'd like to draw your attention, if you look in your journals, under Chapter 1, General Knowledge, there is a map of the Northern Sword Coast, and you can see that the distance between Luskan and Mirabar is pretty fucking far. And I think it's fair to say that adventurers of your ilk and intelligence and know-how would be aware of the general distances between places. It's about 150 miles to Mirabar, which means, and I've worked it all out for you in advance, that were you to set a fast pace on foot, you could get there in about 5 days, though of course that comes with all the drawbacks that setting a fast pace does. If you were to set a normal pace, somewhere between 6 and 7 days. So here we are, on the outskirts of Luskan, the criminals' city, ready to head off towards Mirabar.
Sorry, Tom.
Yes.
What is this thing meant to be on Roll20? Is it meant to be what looks like a galactic sky?
Yeah, it's my
okay.
my launch page. I've decided it goes with the twinkly music that I like.
Just purely because you said something about you can see that Luskan to Mirabar is pretty far, and I was like,
oh yeah, no, that's in your journal. There's a map
okay,
under
all right.
general knowledge.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right, I'll move us over as you set off, trekking to the northeast. Please do adjust your music as needed. I had to find a place to use this music. I don't know if anybody recognizes it, but bonus points if you do. I actually don't think any of you would, but there we go.
Sounds like it's from The Witcher or something, but...
It's not, but it's a good guess. So, as you head out, heading inland now, away from the coast, away from the seas, the terrain becomes more and more blanketed by snow. Rather than greens, you're met with whites and the harsh browns of heathland around you. To the north, even at this distance, you can see the jagged peaks of the spine of the world, mountains, and you know that your destination lies somewhere within. Is there anything you'd like to do in this first day of travel as you move along in your cold weather clothing, fighting against the biting cold, huddled round and shuffling inland?
I think Sandra, the first time she saw the snow, would be like completely overexcited and like start playing in it, and then but keeping up. But then after like an hour, get bored when it starts getting really cold, and she's just like trudging at the back.
Amazing. You see Sandra taking in the joys of snow. Yeah, it's a completely new style of terrain to Sandral. I think also with all your training as a hunter from Elodius and so on. I didn't set it on loop. But, yeah. You would also notice there's quite a few differences up here in the snow. The glare from the snow leaves you with aching eyes before long if you spend too much time staring outwards, that you're used to doing in grassland and low hills. And sound is muffled up here. The snow itself soaks up a lot of the noise, so you find both your keen primary senses less powerful, perhaps, than they would usually be. But if there's anything anyone else would like to do, otherwise I'll happily move us along through this first day of travel.
Only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do a nature check to see what kind of, googlies or monsters you might expect to find up here?
Absolutely. Do a Googlies check, please.
Googlies.
And if you could pair it with a history check, that'd be great.
Yeah. Oh god, where is she?
Let's see what you've been learning, Egghead.
What? Why?
Okay. Perhaps not the best. Yeah. I'd say I was kind of expecting this with a history check so much as I can imagine Sandrel being quite driven and focused on a task at hand rather than sort of fanciful reading about far off places. Perhaps now that she knows she's heading north, she's been trying to gather up what knowledge she does have, but it's minimal. You know the value of survival up here is heightened. You have to keep warm, safe, sound, shelter is incredibly important. More so than normal, you need to make sure your tents are fastened tightly and so on and so forth. In terms of googlies, largely you're making inferences. You think wolves and bears probably make a happy home up here with thick furs. Sandral's smart enough, even with those rolls, to think that rather than looking out for dark pelts up here, the types of camouflage are going to be white. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing because obviously with the mountains in the distance on the edge of your view, you are called to a greater sense of sort of heroic googly, if you like. You have to wonder what could be patrolling those mountains. Could there be dragons? Could there be great apes? Great furred creatures of teeth and more?
So,
But with those rolls, no specifics.
Yeah.
so if we were to travel the road at this area, is this would we know if this is considered like quite a dangerous part of Faerun? Like even this road.
Do a history check in terms of detail, but there's a fair few things you'd know just
Okay.
anyway, especially with your travelling ways.
14.
14. Yeah, not bad. So, yes, you definitely know that the further north you go, particularly past this sort of edge of civilization, it gets more and more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Is the music cut out for anyone else?
No, it's still playing for me.
No, it's just me. You would know, however, that with that roll, that the trade line is kept pretty well trodden between Luskan and Mirabar. Mirabar itself is a city very well known for its production. It produces a lot of metals and worked stone, and that has to be taken to Luskan as a port to then be easily transported further south to be sold at the richer cities of Waterdeep, Neverwinter, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Bunga, with that role and with your own travelling knowledge, you'd think that whilst, yes, being on guard, perhaps more so than just rumbling along on the back roads between Amphail and Tribor and so on, up here it's better to keep on guard, but you think probably you're not in the most dangerous parts yet.
Okay. I think in that case then, for like, how long would this... actually no, you said it was like 7 days, right?
7 days at a normal pace. You guys haven't told me what pace you wish to
I
set.
think we would go normal pace. No, I don't know.
See, I think we'd go slow pace in the really dangerous
I
bits.
definitely don't think we go slow. Bungo would be
No?
pushing.
Oh, yeah, we're on time limit. No, you're right.
Bungo thinks there's little time. I actually think Blam's alright. We go fast.
Okay, so you set a fast pace.
I think in that case, then
We just on
Bung-
foot.
Bungo is going to expend
Mhm.
6 spell slots a day from 2nd and 3rd level to
Mhm.
cover, and maybe 2 4th level as well,
Mm-hmm.
to cover a total of 8 hours. And every time he's going to be casting Enhance Ability on Sandral.
Okay.
And my idea is to give Sandral basically buffing her dexterity checks. But
Mhm.
my idea is basically to give her more freedom of movement for her to act as our scout,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I don't know what Sandra would think of such a suggestion.
Hell yeah, she would. She wouldn't
Yeah.
even think about the bad stuff.
Mhm.
She seems the most capable in that regard.
Amazing. With that, then, yeah, Bungo, if you go ahead and make one of your legendary perception checks, and Sandral, if you just go make a dexterity check with advantage, thanks to enhance ability for me, please, and I'll wrap them up together.
I think Bungo would have the shield equipped at this point, so we'll roll with advantage.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
That's a
Plus 9.
21.
Excellent. I'd say with that, Sandral is very enthusiastic given this task, this role within the group, and she's frequently checking back in, bouncing back out, doing patrols around. Bungo, you keep a sharp lookout whilst also keeping people on pace,
Mm-hmm.
going as fast as you can. And between those two roles, there's a point where Sandral spots some heavy tracks that look like they could have been put down by a bear or even an owlbear, and you steer somewhat to the side, and you manage to avoid any major incident during your first day of travel.
Nice.
Okay.
Just for extra flavour,
Mm-hmm.
Atala would have cast Fly on her at some point.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
So Sandral's living her best life, feeling like a flying scout.
She'd be like going up really big ones and then just like, how fast is the fly speed?
I think it's 60 feet.
60 feet.
Oh
yeah.
my god, she's nearly running as fast on land as she's flying. So I think at some point she'd just go way above the group just to look out at the whole landscape, just for her own amusement.
Of course, and you take in a beautiful vista, and with the height you can climb to, you can even see that sort of slow gradation between the green and the white. And as you look north, the white gets thicker, and you see more jagged rocks sticking out in the mountains in the distance. And no matter how quickly you climb up into the air with your flight, the height of the mountains and their looming nature above you in the distance doesn't seem to change.
Bungo said about the mountain with his legend lore before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can she see
Well, I
if
think
she-
Bungo communicated that,
Yeah,
right?
he definitely would have.
If she goes up that high,
Mm-hmm.
can she try and see where it is? Just not like, well, we know where it is, but she just wants to see it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She wants to be like, that's where we're going, that place.
I think getting pretty high, because the fly spell lasts a while, and the weather's actually not too bad at the moment. Snow is falling, but it's not buffeting. Do an intelligence check for Sandra. Okay.
There's a lot of mountains.
Yeah, there's a lot of mountains, and they all look quite well, not similar, and they're all jagged in their own shape, but it's hard to pick out. And they just seem to go on and on off into your vision far away, so you're not sure.
I think she'd find that cool irrespective if she can't see it.
Yeah. Okay. As night the evening comes along, the sun begins to fall low in the sky. Bungo, inevitably with your vision, and Sandral with your own scouting, you will have spotted ahead of you a number of wagons, 4 wagons that have seemed to pull up together off to the side of the trodden path, maybe half a mile ahead of you.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sandra will 100% say that about it to everyone else.
Okay.
Would it be unusual to see travellers here or not really?
No, you think this is to be expected between
Yeah.
Luskan and Mirabar. If anything, you'd expect a few more physical wagons themselves carrying produce from Mirabar to Luskan.
Oh, which way is it going? Is it pulled up on a certain side of the road?
Yeah, that's a smart question. Logically, you think with the side of the road it's pulled up on that it's going from Luskan to Mirabar.
Oh, okay. That's not as useful.
So we've like caught up with it, you think?
It seems so, yeah. The fast pace
Okay.
you set, and it looks as if probably they pulled up quite early on
Can
in
we
the evening, whereas you guys have been maxing out your time spent
can we
traveling.
see people? Can we see activity?
Yeah, as you're heading closer, you can definitely see activity. Some are beginning to light fires. There are tarpaulins being pulled up between the wagons to create makeshift shelters in between the wooden bodies of the wagons themselves. You can see people milling about.
I think Bungo would suggest going to say hello, greetings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
see what we have anything to be scared of, particularly on this road for people.
Yeah. Any objections?
No.
Nope.
Cool. So you close in a bit further, and as you're getting closer, you see 2 figures seem to stand to attention. They had been previously milling about and helping to carry things around. They look to be wearing armor, a dark color to the fabric, leathers, but pretty decent armor and arms beneath it all. And as you got closer,
Is there any symbol on their arms or any?
do a
rep-
perception check.
Okay.
Ooh.
15.
15's still high enough. Fucking bungo. Yes, you would see a symbol. And the symbol is... I wrote it down. Here we go. I haven't written it down. You would recognize it. It's the symbol of Mirabar itself. I believe it's like 2 crossed axes on a black field. But you would recognize it, Bungo, as the symbol of Mirabar.
Would I get the impression they might be just like guards or?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
They haven't yet called out to you, but they're sort of eyeing you as you're closing in.
I think Bungo would walk up and he's just gonna say hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guys, closer. Okay. You step up, you call out, and you say hello. The guards... This guard takes the lead a bit, looks slightly confused, and just calls out and says, "It's odd to see travellers on the road without a wagon of some kind. Have you been robbed?"
No, not at all. We simply travel upon foot on this occasion.
I see. An interesting choice. Well, what is your business?
We travel north to Mount Archelon eventually, but we look to stop at Mirabar along our way.
I see. Well, this caravan is making its way to Mirabar too. Perhaps if you'd wait here, I will check with my superior and see if perhaps we could share the fire.
Oh, thank you very much.
She nods and heads off. Comes back. Barely a minute past. With 2 figures. One looks to be most certainly of dwarven stature, quite short and with a crook to his back, telling of old age. He has large, well-kept glasses on his face and a beard bejeweled with a number of sapphires and gold inlay trinkets.
Ooh.
Next to him is a very sour-faced human man, quite portly, quite tall, bald on top, but kept his hair around the sides, who eyes you with a bit of a seemingly a constant sneer.
Do they look like maybe quite like sort of noblemen?
The dwarf certainly does. The human man actually dresses quite plainly, though you would notice around his neck he does have a golden pendant
Do I
that hangs down quite far.
recognise the pendant at all?
You don't recognise the pendant, it just seems to be purely there for perhaps its personal interest or a sign of wealth on top of the plain robes.
Yeah, Bungo.
So they would walk up to you and, yep,
Bungo would extend his hand.
yeah, the dwarf would take it happily and shake it quite enthusiastically. He'd say, well, 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 interesting to see a halfling so far north.
Well, yes, it's an awful long way from Amphail, I suppose. But we have our means.
He'd peer over your shoulder and see the rest of you, just say, quite the motley crew. 2, 3 humans, madam, if I'm not mistaken. He looks at you, Atala.
You'll be correct.
This is my wife Atala, and I am Bungo. I'm Bungo Goodbarrel.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, of course. Please, introductions all round, perhaps? Sorry, young lady, I didn't see you behind the large man there. He nods to you, Sandra.
She just waves her hand up in the air. It's like, I'm Sandral. We're going to Mirabar. Is there anywhere nice to stay there?
Perhaps. It's not often we open the city properly to outsiders, but there is something of a... Well, some of my people frowned on it, but an inn used by travellers who come past, the Sundered Stone Inn on the outskirts that you'd be welcome to stay at.
Sundered Stone.
I remember Sandral actually talking to Ingvar at the Guildhall.
Mm-hmm.
Would she remember the name, or should I do an intelligence check?
I think she could remember the name.
But is it a common name?
Sunderston?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so, no.
Okay. She's like, I went to Waterdeep once and met a man. I think Sunderston was his last name. He was at the Guildhall, stonemasons, and the...
Yes, absolutely. The family Sunderston has been making waves over the last few generations, and well, ups and downs, you know, as always the way in business.
You seem very nice.
Yes, the family is nice, little ambitious for some, but nothing wrong with wanting the best for your family. It is them that own the inn. So perhaps if you mention that, you might even see a familiar face there.
Oh, but thank you. If they're coming in and out of Mirabar, I guess there might be people there who are planning to go up the mountain, or is that pretty rare?
It's not rare. The mountain attracts... Please, come, all of you, sit by the fire. There's no need to stand in the cold together. And rude of me, please allow me to introduce. This is my partner in business, Monsieur Gibbon. And he gestures at the tool man, who just kind of sneers down at you all.
Our pleasure. Is he a human, Tom?
He looks human, yeah. Quite overweight and balding.
Monsieur
and
Leblanc,
unpleasant.
did you say?
Monsieur Gibbon.
Gibbon, okay.
Would Sandra know that title isn't, like, very sword coasty?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Did the
So-
dwarf introduce himself?
Oh, no, he didn't. He would introduce himself as Sub-Marchian
Mm-hmm.
Gildred Forgefire.
God, I fucking love your naming conventions, Tom.
He's a nice old man. Or is
I love his voice. You talk to me in that voice always, Tom.
No.
Yikes.
Either of these two armed?
Do a perception check.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Stefan.
Okay.
In fact, can I do an insight check to see just if I get any weird vibes from anyone like nearby?
Of course. Please do. Gray, you easily notice, even with the roll of a 2.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, halfling reroll though. Oh, it's almost a 20.
No. Oh,
Gray,
God.
you.
Are you kidding me? I rolled a 1 into a 2.
Yeah, you did. You're charmed by the old man. Gray, you easily notice that the old timer dwarf seems to brazenly wear what looks like could even be a solid gold dagger on his belt. You would.
Solid gold.
Yeah.
So it's pretty pretty not good at slicing. Not good at
Yep.
stabbing.
And just seems to be much like many of the gold pieces in his beard, just a way to show off
It
his
looks good.
his wealth. It looks fancy. It's some bling bling. And with the tall human guy, you wouldn't notice anything, but I think especially for Gray, you'd probably be quite suspicious. People often use large kind of folded robes like this man to conceal items. So with that roll, you haven't seen anything, but you may well be suspicious. Bungo, with your insight, the old man is very charming. The tall man seems very disdainful and aloof. Beyond that,
Yeah.
everything seems in order.
Yeah, Bungo's just gonna sit down by the fire with him, and I think he'd open up his rations and maybe have a snack.
I think the Gildred sub-marching Gildred would insist. As soon as he saw the rations come out, he'd almost put his hand over them and be like, "Oh no, please! We'll share our fire. Dwarven hospitality must never be questioned. Come along, boys!" And he'd gesture to the guards.
Oh,
And at this
thank you
point-
kindly.
As you approach the fire, you see a number of other figures. You'd see a very drab-looking man, who, whilst everyone is starting to sit down, is still working away, placing things about, seems to have the role of just a dog's body on the caravan. And then you'd see a very interesting figure. Anya, would you like to describe your character?
So she is a tall tabaxi woman dressed in white clerical robes. She has a glass pendant hanging from like a bauble kind of thing hanging from her neck, in which what looks like a dragon scale is floating.
Don't tell me she's not wearing a collar, is she? Not like with a little bell on the...
No. Even I would not go that far, Steph.
Amazing.
Hey, kitty.
So you see her, and alongside her, you
She's
see.
from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see a number of other figures, and you'd all see these people. No one's hidden. You'd see, seemingly often pestering Grace, an older gentleman, looks to be human, wearing priestly robes, a large, dull grey metal chain around his neck. You'd see some exotic looking people with quite tanned skin that look to be together. They're sort of chatting, and you can see by their body language that they're perhaps in a relationship. And then you see another eccentric character, a bronze dragonborn of long beard and tousled hair, who looks to be buried in a book that's in his lap. Further back, though you could all catch the sight of them with the firelight crackling, you would see 3 other figures, identically dressed and all masked. They seem to wear these plain white masks with eye slits cut diagonally across the eyes, and they wear white traveling clothes, though padded with thick furs inside.
But they aren't KKK members, apparently.
No, their hats aren't pointy, just white.
Does,
White,
Bung-
what looks to be like ceramic white masks.
does Bungo recognise this strange attire?
Do a religion check for me, please.
Oh, not
And
bad.
can we tell what races any of them are?
The three masked figures, it's difficult to tell specifics. They are human-esque in stature. They aren't particularly short or particularly tall, and they look very similar to each other. There's none more stocky or thin than the other.
No tails poking out either.
No tails to be seen. Bungo with a 12. You think you're aware of some practices within certain faiths of covering one's own self to be closer to the deity, to sort of almost lose oneself in the deity. But with a 12, you're not sure specifics, but it's not
What if I were
something completely
to
alien.
reach into my backpack and pull out a subtle silver coin with a deeply engraved image of an elephant face on the back and just quietly whisper "Heffalump help" to try and re-roll that particular.
You go ahead.
Bungo's curious. But Bungo didn't fucking PJ didn't help.
Heffalump's distracted.
Yeah.
So
No
yeah,
luck.
that's all you realise.
Are what they wearing at all similar to what anyone else, any of these other figures?
Not so much. The older man is wearing brown traveling robes. They look very well worn. The Dragonborn is actually probably the least clothed. Wears like a shawl over the shoulders and then some leather breeches and a waistcoat, but otherwise is bare armed, which looks quite mad, especially the weather you're in right now. And then these two have more colourful robes, some reds, blues, and greens, kind of tastefully put together. But no, these are all just stark white. The three at the back.
And like, where are they stationed? How are they standing? Where are they standing? Are they near anyone? Are they doing anything?
Yeah, these four have all sat themselves down near the fire, soaking up the warmth. These three are sat, and it looks like people have pulled out blankets and such to not be sitting on the snow on the ground. But the three of them are sat cross-legged, almost in a little second rank behind these first four. And just seem to be sitting, staring into the fire.
Okay.
I think Bungo would go sit up alongside them.
The three?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So you stand up and toddle over?
I think
Whilst
like
you're doing that, I think the sub-merchant Gildred would be sort of vaguely introducing people, though he wouldn't want to speak for you, Grace. But he'd say, "This is a party we saw fit to join up with on our way to Mirabar, safety in numbers and all that, you know. They are interested in heading to the mountain, I believe, young lady. Is that right?" Looking at you, Grace.
Oh, me. Yes, we travel to Mount Arkalon.
Yes, there you are.
And what business do you have there?
We seek to glorify Bahamut.
Sandra would look at Grey like, didn't Jorek like Bahamut?
You did.
Can Bungo see if he gets any vibes that these three are with Grace and the rest of these guys? Or do they look quite separate?
Both, I would say, is the answer. Just with Bungo's
Okay.
passive sense of things, they've definitively sat down as a group together, but equally they've definitively sat down back from the first rank, if you like. The front four don't seem to take any notice of the back three as such. The back three just seem to be left to their own devices.
Do they seem to be reacting at all to the fact I've sat with them?
Where do you move yourself to?
Probably like over here somewhere.
So you just like sat down, kind of in between.
Yeah,
two
I mean,
them.
if he can sit like in between, sort of facing them, he would.
Yeah, you could plonk yourself down. You're a halfling. There's enough space there for you to plonk yourself down and sit facing them. You would. What's Bungo's passive insight?
It's pretty good, I think. A 15.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You note that even as you stepped between them and sat down, there was zero reaction whatsoever, and that it's difficult to read any expression with the mask on, but there's been seemingly no reaction to your presence.
Bungo can hear what Grace is talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's
yeah,
going...
everyone's speaking over the sound of the fire.
I mean, I don't know if... I'm just going to go off what I get the impression of, that they seem to be of one group. He's going to, like, pull the golden reliquary of Bahamut out that he bought in Campaign 1.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
I hope you still got that thing.
Yeah, he kept it for sentimental reasons for Jorek. And he's just going to place it in front of him, and he's going to sit cross-legged.
Okay.
And he's just going to sort of nod in their direction.
Okay, interesting. So out comes the reliquary. You place it down. Grace, what's your passive perception?
Let me have a look. Sorry, it's having a tiny freak out.
Tiny freak out. I mean, Bungo, I don't think you're particularly trying to hide.
Oh,
Like
absolutely not. No.
Okay, yeah. Then it doesn't even matter what your perception is, Grace.
Anyway.
Oh wow. But yeah. So I think out of the corner of your eye, Grace, you'd notice this glittering, reliquary devoted to Bahamut placed in front of Bungo. Before anything else, Bungo, all three of them slowly turn their heads to look at the reliquary, then turn their heads to look at you, and just kind of hold gaze on you. They don't say anything, and they don't return the nod that you gave.
Okay. Bungo's intrigued, but he's not saying anything.
Sandra, I was going to ask her, what does a Submarchian actually do, Mr. Gildridge?
Well, it's good to see the youth taking an interest in proper matters. You see, in Mirabar, we have I would say a superior setup to many other places that worry themselves about politics and other dealings much too complex. We have a simple democratic system. We elect our representatives each year as part of the Circle of Sparkling Stone. But above that, there is an official leader of the city, the Marchian, who would interact with other city leaders as needed, for example, with Luskan, our trade partner. Myself, as sub-Marchian, I've been picked out, if you like, by our current wise Marchian, may she be safe and sound, to aid in matters and oversee major trade with Luskan.
My father says that democracy leads to a tyranny of the masses. Do you think that's true in Mirabar or not?
Sounds like a fiery fellow. No, my dear, I wouldn't say so. I believe that as long as everyone is clear as to the purpose of elected positions, then I think all is well. In Mirabar, we are a direct folk. We are here to plumb the treasures of our great world and our great, and he sort of gestures back to the mountain range in the distance, the great bones of our land, and we see it done. People have a voice. If they are unhappy with their representative, they can simply vote for somebody else the following year.
She nods and she's like, That makes sense. My father, he also says a benevolent dictator's the best, but he said none actually exist. But I don't know if he's referring to himself, though.
Is your father a learned man, my dear?
Kind of looks around. He knows his ways. He's learned. He reads books.
Well, that's pretty good, I would say. In these days of ours, many don't ever turn a single page. But I would gladly invite your father, who's raised such a sharp young lady, to come and see Mirabar for himself.
Well, I'll let him know later tonight. She
Is he?
Sending stone.
Oh, she holds it up. Or she gives it a pat in her pocket.
Yeah, she sort of taps it.
Okay. He just gives her a nice nod.
I think after that she'd be asking random, not very consequential stuff about Mirabard.
He'd love answering it. And he'd be making sure everyone has wine passed around and plenty of food. Bungo, you'd noticed through all this time, these three, I think probably after a minute or so, would have broken their gaze on you and just gone back to staring into the fire.
I think after a short while, Bungo would kind of bow, would get to his feet, hold the golden reliquary in both hands, and then just bow lightly towards them, and then look to Grace and just sort of lightly bow to her as well, and then go sit with Atala, and I think not maybe talking about anything too grand, but I think Atala would know Bungo is a man who's often lost in his own thoughts and kind of away with the fairies, as if you were.
Yeah.
But he quite happily just sits with her and sort of grasps her hand with one hand, and with the other he just places his symbol of Lyra around his neck on the floor and places it next to the golden reliquary of Bahamut, and kind of just thinks to time spent with Jorek, and he knows something's not right in what lies ahead, so he's kind of trying to create some sort of spiritual connection. He knows that there's no spell that will allow him to, that he's not tried, that would connect him directly with Jorek, so he's trying to reach out more spiritually.
Okay, keep that in mind.
Does Tala assume that he's going to try sending again? Because I imagine Bungo is a guy that would try every day.
I think Bungo would try every day. He at least saves one spell slot too.
Yeah.
And I think it would actually come in. I think if Bungo would probably how long do you think it's been since he originally received that letter, Tom?
The letter, it's only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
now.
I think every day at least once he would have cast sending towards Jorek. Yeah. And I assume he would have received no response.
Yeah, ever since the first time you received no response, it has been the same each day.
I think after maybe the fourth or fifth time, he would have started maybe instead of directly trying to message Jorek. I think the first few would have been Jorek, it's Bungo, I'm here, where are you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think after a while, I think Bungo's more than wise enough to realise something's not right. And he's going, each day he's going to mutter a different dogma of Bahamut. So I think on the first day he would say something like justice and good above all, and that's all he'd message. And the next day he'd say honour and fealty to the king. And the next day he'd say honour and respect to righteous innocence, and things like this.
Amazing.
Each day, and I think in Bungo's mind he's trying to channel Bahamut's power into Jorek through these mantras each day.
Okay.
If there's any chance of Jorek can hear him, then he knows Bahamut's watching over him.
Awesome.
Are you going to try again today, dear?
Yes, I will, and he will place one hand on the symbol of Lyra and one hand on the golden reliquary, and he will say, honor and forbearance for oneself. And he sort of says it aloud, but it's still quite kind of under his breath, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Thala would look up to Grace of the Gods as Bongo says that, assuming it's something related to Bahamut.
I think she would know. I think Atala's pretty fucking smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hannah's
I think she's
asking.
watching for a reaction.
Oh,
right?
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, I
I'm
misunderstood.
watching for a reaction from Grace of Gods, because she said something about Bahamut.
It would depend on if Grace heard him. Sorry.
I definitely think you would with your passive perception.
Then Grace would come over. She's got cat hearing as well, I suppose. A true faithful, I see.
Bungo's kind of like deep in thought and looking down and kind of like breathes in quite sharply as he's like trying to meditate and think of Jorek, and he kind of sort of shakes his head slightly and kind of like oh sorry, and he just looks towards Grace and he's like, sorry, I was deep in thought. I
mean not to interrupt your contemplation.
No, not at all. It's absolutely fine. I am not a devotee of the Platinum Dragon himself, but I have a deep respect for him, and well, I am a worshipper of the Joybringer myself, Lyra. I am, but a good man and an old friend. It was taught me the messages and the power of Bahamut's message, and I seek to. I think he is lost, and I hope to try and send something of energy across the cold tundras of this world and send it in his direction.
I am sorry for your friend. I am sure Bahamut will protect his faithful.
I think so too. I am Bungo, by the way. Bungo Goodbarrow, and your name?
Grace of the Gods.
It's...
And she would hold out a hand to shake. A
Yeah.
paw to shake, sorry.
Yeah, he would shake it back, and he'd give a genuine smile, and he would just say, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Grace. I always take great pleasure in meeting other faithful across the lands."
Yes, it is my pleasure to meet faithful. I guide them on their journey to glorify Bahamut.
Do you know of the Joybringer?
No, I know only of the one true god, Bahamut.
Throughout my journeys, I have learnt that the gods have a tendency of working together, and my opinion is there is no one true god. There is the whole pantheon of gods, and together they help form everything that takes up our world and combat anything evil in the world. The Joybringer and the Platinum Dragon, in my opinion, are close companions.
I suppose so. Ah! Sorry, that was me, not Grace.
No, that's
making
fine.
that noise.
Bungo just sort of nods towards her and says, If if Jorik were here, he could explain better than I. Are you due to head up the mountain yourself, or are you stopping in Mirabar?
I will guide these pilgrims up Mount Archelon.
Oh, you are familiar with the route then, yes?
I make the journey in what's the word I'm looking for? In tribute to Bahamut. It's not the word, but it'll have to do.
Pilgrimage.
Thank you.
I now see, your name is Grace, correct? Grace of the Gods.
Yes, although it should be Grace of Bahamut.
Do you know a dragonborn by the name of Archelon Cadra?
Would she?
She would. In fact, she would know that Grace knows quite a lot about the mountain, and is looked on positively by Clan Archelon, which is quite rare for any pilgrims from outside the mountain. Cadra is very much a high up figure in the clan and has historically been the one to deal with outsiders of all kinds, whether that's invaders or visitors, pilgrims. And so Grace would, I think, have formed as close to a friendship as anyone can get with Cadra, who is a very cold and strict individual. But I think they would have formed a lasting respect for each other.
Ah, yes, Cadra. We are well acquainted.
So you know of Rhymebreath Monastery?
Yep. Ooh. Internet.
I think she might have interneted it out.
Grace, no!
God, Tucker.
I will say, if you're there, Blam, this whole time, this whole evening with sharing wine and food and everything, this guy's been eyeing you up.
I mean, who wouldn't, to be fair?
Which guy?
This guy.
Bald guy.
The bald, portly, tall, sneery human guy.
Why is he being eyeing me up?
Do an insight check for me.
He wants some blamming.
Yep, you too. Look at that chest.
9. You're not 100% sure. It doesn't seem overtly sexual, and Blam certainly had his fair share of being eyed up in that regard on his travels. No, it more looks like someone appraising like a fine piece of jewelry or a fine weapon.
I'm gonna try and not make eye contact with that guy.
You're gonna blank him.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the tokens are, where he's staring at him and Blam's just looking straight forward into nothing.
Exactly like that.
Amazing. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
God, I didn't realise that. It looks like Sandra. I was looking up at this guy and he's looking down at her.
Yeah. Good job, young lady. Oh, poor Anya seems to have disappeared.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, is there any other conversation or anything people would have asked about or done or said or anything whilst Anya's recovering?
Think purely Bungo would have shown Grace the missive that the Cadra sent. I think that was his main. After like sort of realizing her, I think he was a bit distracted, and then realizing who she was, and then suddenly like this, oh, it's you kind of thing, and then being like, he was just going to ask, can we join you? Which I imagine Grace would have probably agreed to.
I would think so.
The only thing I told us to do was ask about the black guys reading.
Anya says she can hear everything, but
Oh.
she can't reply, and says yes, Grace would. The book that the Dragonborn is reading.
Yeah.
Would Atali go over to him, or just kind of call out across the fire? You aren't that far apart, but Cool. So you step up to him and he'd react. I think with a little startle, but a positivity. He'd just be like, "Oh, hello. Yes, the book, right? Well, he'd I think just give it straight to you, holding his page open, and you'd see it's a series of stories and legends from across the spine of the world. It seems like he's been reading about this mountain range that you guys are closing in on.
Oh, well, I was quite curious about it myself. What does Atala know about the spine of the world herself already?
Roll a history check for me. And I'm going to lower the DC because Atala does lots of reading.
Oh
my god, you guys are rolling
Not that much.
poop today.
Real food.
But I did lower the DC, so I would say Atala knows that the spine of the world is a huge mountain range. It well deserves its name. It spans all the way across northern Faerun. It separates on the far side of the spine is this great frozen wasteland with lots of tales of barbarous tribes and giants, dragons, all these threats that are largely kept out of the more civilized Sword Coast by the mountain range itself. She'd know that the farthest north civilization really gets is 10 Towns, which is on the coast, kind of at the end of the mountain range to your west, and that there are hardy people living there and making a living and so on, but they are often attacked by barbarian tribes from the north. She'd know that where you have mountain ranges, you have great wealth in the stone, and that this is evidenced by Mirabar's great success and wealth plundering the mountain range and mining and so on. But it's an impressive, very dangerous, powerful mountain range that's kind of like, for many people, it's like the edge of the world to them. You don't really go beyond that or even to it itself.
If Atala were to listen in, would she be familiar with the prosperous and amazing Dugan's Hole of 10 Towns? Sorry.
I think perhaps she would be, yeah. And the interesting folk that inhabit it. But yeah, the guy would be quite enthusiastic and happy to talk to you and discuss. He'd immediately be like, a fellow reader. This is wonderful. You must tell me your favorite book, your favorite book about locations, your favorite book about peoples. Please tell me.
Oh, well, you can't get enough books. I've read so many, I can't even really pick a favorite. I mean, all the locations we've been as well, it's all been recorded by myself. I make my own books.
You don't say. Absolutely, more than anything, please.
Yeah, so I think you should just sit down, probably show him some of her books. She probably hasn't carried many with her, but and probably want to have a look at his book so she can get some knowledge more about the spine of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think before long he'd introduce himself as Ganxethal Vorhadur.
How'd you spell that?
Bronze Dragonborn. He'd tell you that he stays on the move. In his youth, he made quite a lot of money working with jewelry and working with precious gems in the south. In fact, with other dwarven folk, shield dwarves, gold dwarves in the south. But that now and Atala's smart, she'd pick up from all his enthusiasm and everything. He's pretty much a fucking pro-tourist. He just loves going around everywhere, reading about places, seeing it, and just spending his mid to late years just fucking touristing it up everywhere he goes.
How do I spell his name, Tom?
Should encourage him to read a book.
Yeah.
Make a book.
Oh, he'd be quite humble with the idea of making a book. I think he'd be very sort of reverent as to what you're doing, and just be a bit like, I couldn't possibly the sheer skill needed to do this. But I've added him to everyone's journals now. If you're in Chapter 1, The Cold Mountain, Grace's Pilgrimage,
Thank you.
Ganxethal Vorhadur.
Nice.
But yeah.
The only thing, Sandra wouldn't really be expecting an answer, but she'd be these guys are sitting together, right?
They are.
She'd kind of ask what his title means, where it's from.
I think you would, and Sandra would probably immediately pick up on the fact that this guy is still staring at Blam half the time. But his eyes would dart over to you, and he would tell you that he is from Cormier, and that a young lady should speak when spoken to, but I think he'd get a sharp nudge in the ribs from the old dwarven guy. And he'd tell you that he is essentially the go-between from Luskan itself. And he's like the Luskan side of the Luskan Mirabar partnership, where Submarchian Gildred is the Mirabar side.
Okay. Yeah, she'd also scowl at him.
Yeah.
Because technically, with Elodius as a lord, she's like, Monsieur.
yeah,
Lower than
100%,
her.
100%.
But she wouldn't correct him or anything. She'd just take it because it's easier.
Yeah, Sandra would. Yeah, he's smart enough to get the impression this guy is very much living off his insecurities and is very haughty and very snooty and scowly, and clearly sizing up Blam as a potential something.
Fighter.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems like.
Yeah.
And actually, probably as the night wears on and wine is imbibed, I think he'd probably ask you, Blam, and probably quite a rude way.
Oh, here we go.
He'd be like, "Sir, I must ask, you are well bedecked in muscle and arms. What is your price? You must be a mercenary, no?"
No, actually.
What do you mean, every man has his price? Name it. I am from wealth.
What? Price for what?
To be my bodyguard, to work for me. I'm stuck here with this fool, and he gestures over at the guy who's still moving boxes around. Clearly you would be a great step up in the world.
Well, that's probably true, but... Nah. Got things to do.
No, this is ridiculous. 50 gold a day.
What do I need with gold?
100. Every man needs gold. 200 gold a day.
Nah, I'm not interested.
400 gold a day. That is my final offer, and it is far more than you would find anywhere else.
Well, I won't be looking anywhere else.
Absurd. He swigs the rest of his wine and slams his little goblet down and sulks off to the wagon to sleep.
What a prat.
Yeah. There are prats in the world, and he's one of them.
I love how Davy paid someone like 1/100th of that for sex, and Blam won't even take that.
Blam's honourable. Look at him.
The great.
Are you trying to say something about Davy Milestone?
Less said the better at the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah.
I think with shared food and shared wine and generally jovial conversations, excluding Monsieur Gibbon, and the three strange silent figures at the back, each of the pilgrims would introduce themselves. They'd be particularly interested in you, Bungo, with your reliquary as well. But they'd introduce themselves to everyone. The priestly man is Father Wright. He has always been a devotee of Bahamut. He comes from a small village further south. And the village itself, sadly, was destroyed. He managed to make it away with the help of some fine adventurers, but he took it upon himself to carry Bahamut's word around, become a traveling priest, if you like, at that point, and has finally saved up enough money to come on this journey to Mount Arklon itself, and you'd notice that he likes to try and talk about Bahamut with Grace a lot. And then there's the couple, Rayla and Temkin Abturl. Again, I'm adding these all to your journal if you're worried about spelling. But they are a couple from the Southlands, much further south, who found faith in Bahamut, which is quite unusual in their land. And they weren't persecuted, but they didn't find many fellow worshippers, and they wanted to come to a place where they could be amongst other people who saw the power and light of the good Lord Bahamut.
Like Scientologists.
And have travelled north and are, in an effort to be as close to Bahamut as possible, are spending some of their considerable wealth in this pilgrimage to Mount Arklon. But yes.
Yeah, Bungo
Unless there's...
would
Oh, go ahead.
socialise with them for a bit, but I think after a while he would kind of sit off to the side next to Grey, and he would just sort of look up to Grey and just say, I didn't really get a chance to say how good it is to see you, old friend.
Yeah, same to you, little guy. This has been a bit of a, not exactly the reason to get together you would have liked. Something of a rescue mission, I guess.
I have not spoken it with the others. I do not wish to worry them, but I trust your ability to handle bad news more than most.
Most of my life, little man.
Quite. I have reached out to Lyra, and I have reached out to the divine magics, and I am getting nothing. I do not understand. I have never had this reaction before. I'm scared, Grey.
Don't be scared just because it's new to you. The first time for everything. Even if we may never find where Jorik is, as long as we find answers.
He nods and he kind of sort of grasps his sort of satchel tightly in his backpack, and he kind of sighs heavily and just says, I have to be honest, I never expected to be out on the road in this manner again. I was ready to simply spread the joy of Lyra through storytelling for the rest of my days.
Nah, once you've been an adventurer once, you can't just let it down. Not until it kills you.
You're right, well, yeah, I think your faith in us finding Jorik is reassuring at best. How goes your connection with Celestian? I know it was a brief thing when we last spoke, but
well, over the past few years, it's certainly grown. I can't just forget him. He's always with me, you know. Listening to Grace and such. It's not exactly like you guys. I wouldn't call it worshipping, but yeah, he's always watching over me.
We worship in our own ways, Grey, and I'd always said I'm forever grateful and glad that you found your own way to it.
Yeah, well, it's certainly surprising, and it's certainly been a difficult learning curve, getting my head around the divine and everything above us, all of that. And I think he's a little pleased now. I finally left Neverwinter and started to expand my reaches a bit. It's been a long time since I've traveled this far.
Well, that's I think we've got a lot of good friends here. Let's use whatever connection we have to each other and to the gods, and let's find our friend Jorek wherever he may be.
Always the joyful one. Focusing on what friends we have and not what enemies we're about to make.
Well, I try. To be honest, I'm not sure I was ever really cut out to be an adventurer at all. But destiny is thrust upon one, and when destiny calls, one must answer.
Exactly. Wouldn't have called you if we didn't need you.
Bungo gives kind of like a somewhat half-hearted kind of smile and nod.
Gray probably wouldn't have noticed so much. So this whole time you've kind of been here and everyone's been talking, and just during our conversation, Gray's pretty much been non-stop, just staring at these three shady hooded figures. Just naturally becomes suspicious of that kind of figure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole time, I don't know how long you would say we've been here now, but has Gray noticed any movements, any sign of reacting to anyone, anything, any noise, anything from them?
One thing, and you've been here a good few hours now, the evening's wearing on, and many people, that's why I'm disappearing them, have gone off to sleep in the wagons. Once the couple, the Abturs and Father Wright went to sleep, or left the fireside, said their goodnights and went to sleep, the three silent figures all stood in unison, stepped forward maybe 2-3 paces, and then went back to sitting cross-legged, just now closer to the fire and staring into the fire.
As in, when you say in unison, between the three of them, or with like each of the three people?
The three masked figures all stood up at the same time, walked forwards, not in perfect lockstep, but walked forwards at the same time, and then sat down in front of the fire, staring into the fire.
And that's the only movement.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like one of them scratching their arse.
No fart sounds. No wine, no food. Just sitting and staring.
Still as anything.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay.
Cool. Anything else from anyone? Or are you going to head to sleep? Gildred would have offered you all shelter in the form of the stretched tarpaulins between the wagons. Of course, you have your own tents, but he'd suggest you put everything together to make as good a night's rest as possible. But yeah.
I think Atala would have asked to borrow this guy's book for the night so she could read it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He would enthusiastically hand it over and just say for you to return it whenever you can. If we're all heading to Mirabar, then I suppose we might be sharing the road.
Seems quite likely. Well, whenever I finish it then. Or I read quite quickly.
I'd expect as much from a book creator. But well, with that, I'll say good night.
Good night. See you in the morning.
He'd head back to his wagon.
I think Bungo would probably end off the night maybe with like sitting around a campfire with Blam and Sandra, maybe Grey off to the side, and maybe Atala off to the side reading, and Bungo might try and sort of maybe try and like just sort of briefly teach Blam and Sandra how to play the bagpipes.
I see. Yeah, go ahead and make a performance check for me.
Everyone's trying to get to sleep. You just
That's what the roll's for.
Natural fucking 20, baby!
Just when you need it. With that, Bungo, you have become, and having been learning the bagpipes throughout living with a travelling caravan, You have become expert at concealing the noises of the pipes when needed, keeping them directional, faced outwards from the caravan, and you don't cause a single lost wink of sleep.
I'm very glad.
What
Excellent.
in the name of Bahamut is this sound?
Yeah. Grace is still up, as are the 3 silent figures.
Tugly taught him well.
Oh.
But yeah.
I think Grey would probably stay up a little bit
Mhm.
after a while. Just watching these hooded figures, they haven't moved, so yeah, he'd probably go over and just ask Grace.
Mhm.
What about them 3? What's up with them?
Grace wouldn't know either, would she?
She would know that they joined her on her pilgrimage. It would have been, so as she was heading north, it would have actually been in Luskan. The 3 of them would have declared themselves interested in climbing Mount Archelon and paying fealty to Bahamut. They would have offered the standard price that Grace asked for to cover travel costs and everything. But yeah, beyond that, they have been very taciturn and not given up much about themselves at all.
Would they actually have said anything when signing up for the pilgrimage?
Yeah, they spoke to her, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
From what Grace can remember, and it wasn't that long ago, it was only one of them that spoke. It sounded like a male voice. It was quite deadpan, monotonous, but, eloquent as anybody is. They spoke properly. But very
She
much.
wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them, so as in which one was the one that did the talking.
No, probably not.
No, I don't
If
think
they're
so.
all identical, you'd shuffle them around like, it could be anyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's all
Grace
Grace
would just
knows.
tell you that. Grace would just relay that to you, Grey.
And then he'd probably also ask just how you came about to worshipping Bahamut.
Backstory I hadn't planned for.
Oh, gotcha. Instant
When
improv.
I was a child, I saw the great Bahamut fly through the sky over my village, and I have been in worship of him ever since.
Actually saw the guy.
He is very elusive.
Am I right to believe that it's not exactly something that happens often?
No, this is why I believe myself blessed by Bahamut. I am one of few who have seen him for real.
It's like the Loch Ness
Consider yourself
Monster.
very lucky.
Yes, it was a glorious sight to behold.
How old were you?
I was but 7 summers.
Not too young.
It's just a regular platinum dragon.
One quick thing.
Yeah.
Gray's concerned about these guys.
Aren't you?
Well, that's what I'm trying to ask. Like, would he have been like to everyone like, those guys are kind of weird? I don't know what they are. Like, would he have expressed that?
Gray would have been like pretty intently staring, so if anyone noticed why he wasn't saying an awful lot or doing that, they may have noticed his focus, but no, he wouldn't have said anything because he's not certain.
Can I see if she would have noticed Gray looking at them like intently? Because Sandra's not that bothered about them.
I think the question would be whether Gray was trying to hide what he was doing.
No, he would have been like across the fire and pretty much staring at them, fully aware that if they were looking back at him, they would see him staring at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So
he
yeah,
wasn't trying to keep it.
I definitely think Sandra would.
Seeing Gray concerned, she's going to use Hunter's Sense.
Okay. Tell me what it does.
So the bit that I was interested in,
Mhm.
if the creature's hidden from... no, wait. You immediately learn whether the creature has... Or if a creature is in... Oh, wait, what? Blech. Yeah, just any of that.
Interesting.
Any idea of what they are? Because she's seen grey looking. She's also curious.
Mm-hmm. So, Sandral, you go into yourself. There's that kind of haze that falls into the peripheral vision as you perfectly pinpoint focus on these creatures in front of you. With your magical ability, you are able to sense that they have resistance to what's it called? Bludgeoning, slashing, piercing damage, and that they are vulnerable to both cold and fire damage.
That would be alarming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She'd approach Grey, and if he was staring, she'd be like, "I'm not sure if those things are, well, I don't know what the right word is. Sentient."
Certainly don't seem to be here exactly, if you know what I mean. They're like statues.
I get the opinion that they might be statues. I don't think they'd be hurt by any mundane form of weapon. And they seem vulnerable to certain types of magic.
So many magics out there, everything's going to be vulnerable to. But these guys, I don't know. Why would they need to hide their faces when they're so...
Because he's fuck ugly.
Would
I
you
don't
get
trust.
the idea that they're not like...
I mean, Sandral would know that people don't have these kinds of Sandral's smart and she's done her training, and certainly with Peleus would speak to her about different humanoids and their weaknesses and such. She'd know that Goliaths are resistant to cold, and from all of that learning, nothing would fit the bill of constantly resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, and then vulnerable to fire and cold.
She'd be like, they feel like creatures, not humanoids. But why are they here?
Precisely what I want to know.
Maybe we should tell everyone else?
They're not exactly hiding. Everyone else would have made their judgments already.
Wait. Well, if you say so, Grey. She's going to sleep with one eye open tonight.
Very good. Okay.
Who's on watches? Is there anyone on watches?
I have one more thing I'd like to do before I go to bed.
Of course. And Gildred would assure you, though of course you're more than welcome to do your own watches, that the two guards will be on watch throughout the night on shifts. But yeah, you can do as you please. Of course.
Bungo is going to, once he's retired to his tent, he is going to attempt to try and cast Scrying on Kadra.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. What is the DC?
So the DC's 17,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
There's
obviously...
the things that change stuff.
Yes, you can
Yeah,
see
right.
in here a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you. The target must make a wisdom saving throw to modify how well you know the target and the sort of physical connections you have to it. If the target knows you're casting the spell, it can fail the saving throw voluntarily if it wants to be observed. So, it says, knowledge, second hand, you have heard of the target. They get a +5. First hand, you have met the target 0. And familiar, you know the target well, gets a -5 to it.
So I'd say familiar.
So they probably get
Yeah.
a -5 to it in their roll.
Okay. Oh
Are
wait,
we familiar
the,
with
the
it?
middle one.
middle one.
The middle one.
Middle
Oh, first
0.
hand, so 0. So it's just a straight DC 17 wisdom
Okay.
saving throw.
Do they know who it is that's doing the scrying? Because when you said they can choose to fail it, it's like, is it just like a
I mean,
somebody's trying to view you, or is it a Bunga Goodbarrel would like to?
I think it
watch
just
you?
says if a target knows you're casting the spell, it can fail the saving throw voluntarily. So I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Okay,
Maybe prior
I'm gonna roll it.
knowledge or something.
She is a paladin, so she's quite good.
Yeah. Oof,
What's the DC?
17 exactly.
Yeah, so you sense Lyra's light with
Yeah.
you, but just about deflected with a flash of silver energy.
He expected as much. He was just going to have a peek.
Yeah, it was close.
God, Bungo, you're married now. Get over it.
Excellent. Anything else before people go to sleep? Do you want to set up watches between you all?
I think Bungo's always got a second ear out with his 29 passive perception.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
Jesus
Sandra.
Christ.
Tala's going to be awake, so.
yeah.
Sandra,
Yeah.
I would say to Grey about it as well.
Bram's gonna have a big sleep.
Yeah, blam! Wraps some burritos himself up with some blankets and just heads off to the Netherrealm. Amazing. Okay, so yeah, I actually wanted to ask you, Hannah, with the Tala, as she is there anything you wish to spend your time particularly doing in the nights? Do you want to just do it night by night, or is there an overall project you'd like
We'll
to
do
work
do
with?
night by night until I figure something out. At the moment, she just wants to read that book and learn more about the spine of the world.
Sounds good. I will keep that in mind for future knowledge checks and so on. Excellent. Yeah, well, Atali, you would notice. Grace, I assume you head off to bed.
Yep.
But Atali, you would notice that these three just sit and watch the fire and do not move throughout the night.
interesting.
Weirdos.
I don't know what you mean. But with that, the night passes, the temperature drops. You're all feeling it more and more now. Not used, except perhaps for Blam, who is more, and Grace. Blam, who has been spending some time up here further north. You've gotten used to the temperatures. But for the rest of you, the night is cold, biting. Any exposed skin or little gap in your blankets is swiftly dealt with because you feel a cold chill run right up your limb. But a new day dawns, and the first thing Gildred wants to know is whether you'd like to join the caravan heading towards Mirabar.
I think Bungo would be more than happy to.
I assume it means we can't go at our fast pace.
Well, because there is actually space in the wagons for you to ride in, you'd actually be going faster. You'd cut a couple of days off of your travel time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't then.
Okay, excellent. So breakfast is served once more. Gildred seems to be very well stocked and supplied. The people go about packing up their belongings, getting everything back in the wagons. It's a tight squeeze, but one of the wagons has enough space in it for the lot of you to kind of budge in together. The two guards themselves seem to have a setup where they almost hang off the sides of the front wagon, which contains Monsieur Gibbon and Gildred Forgefire. And with that, you head off east once more towards Mirabar. Is there anything anyone would like to do in your travelling time?
I think so.
Yeah, completely fair. You're no longer needed to
I'm-
perform checks or what have you. You're all just crammed into the wagon together.
I think
I
Bungo
think
is...
Grey would be like.
Sorry, go on, Grey.
I was just gonna say, Grey would probably do like little experiments with these three figures by like. So obviously they're moving around. They'll be climbing in, probably just sitting down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be something like as everyone's kind of maybe climbing into the wagon, I'm guessing there wouldn't have been enough room for all three of them to climb in synchronized, so Grey would probably like budge in the way and kind of try and get in between a couple of them.
In their wagon?
Oh, what, do they have their own wagon?
It seems like the farther right, the Abturls and the Dragonborn have a wagon, and then Grace is the one that drives the wagon with these three masked figures in.
Oh, I see. Okay. So are we all going in the same wagon? Me and my posse?
You guys have your own wagon, yeah.
Oh, we've got our own wagon.
Yeah,
Grey's
essentially,
gooses.
people were more spread out across different wagons, but with you guys here, they've crammed more into each one so that you guys...
Ah,
can go
gotcha. You know what? Actually, yeah. Fuck it. Grey would get in their wagon, yeah.
Okay. So Grace is up front, ready to head off, and then as they're beginning to clamber up into their wagon, you just like muscle in between them and head inside.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm keeping a close eye to see how they react, if at all.
Yeah, interesting. First of all, do a strength check for me, please.
Can I was gonna say beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Would Bungo be able to notice Grey's like about to do this?
You would certainly see him around that wagon.
He wouldn't have
I
said
at least
anything.
thinks for the next hour, then he would have like placed a hand on him as he went and cast enhanced ability in Cat's Grace, so he he has advantage on dexterity checks and doesn't take damage from falling 20 feet or less.
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
I'll still want a strength check and a dex check then. I'll say that's made a difference enough to bring it into play. Strength and then dex, with the dex one being at advantage.
1.
Okay. So, you go to kind of muscle in between them. I don't know if you say anything, but you push.
Yeah, he'd just be like, excuse me.
The first thing you'd notice is that they are very solid in their standing. For their height and build, they look like it should have been easy to kind of like bustle past, but you practically bounce off one of them as you try and like muscle in. However, with Bungo's blessing and your own very capable dexterity anyway, you manage to turn that momentum into a swing up into the carriage itself, and you still manage to get inside before the three of them get up there. For their part, the one you bounced off does seem to hesitate momentarily, and the mask turns to look at you, and the other two wait behind it, and then, without saying anything or otherwise reacting, they pull themselves up into the back of the wagon and go to sit down. You note that the inside of the wagon, unlike the other ones, is barely decorated at all. There are two wooden benches, one along each side of the wagon on the inside, a wooden floor. There is a very simple, drab, almost like a tapestry or a flag, pinned to the inside front of the wagon, if you like, depicting a very simple characterization of the Platinum Dragon, picked out in needle and thread. But beyond that, on the inside, there is quite literally nothing. Whereas in the wagon that you guys have commandeered, there's little boxes and barrels containing food and people's goods that they're quite happy to leave you in protection of. This wagon is bare. And once you've taken your seat, one of them sits down next to you, the other two sit down across from you, and they just stare forward.
Okay.
And you're just-
And when you say a bounce off of them,
Taxi driver thing. Like, how you doing, lads? Yeah. All the way.
Where are we heading? Bounce off of them,
well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
As if you'd run into Blam, run into Blam and like bounced off of him.
Mhm.
These
Okay,
guys
so
who
not
are
Impossibly solid, just surprising.
definitely surprisingly so, and no, not impossibly.
Not like, it's impossible. I should have tilted slightly.
No.
Just they are sturdy.
Yeah, there is physical movement when you bounce off of them. They're not like a wall, but definitely stronger than they appear. But are you staying in the wagon?
Yeah. He's gonna get comfortable. He's gonna sort of look relaxed.
Okay.
Somewhat cocky. Just kind of keep an eye and
man spread.
Occasionally say something. Man spread, absolutely man spread.
Amazing. Okay. With that, each of you and one of you guys is going to have to drive the cart. I've put Blam at the front right now, but I don't know if anyone has any particular preference.
I prefer if Blam drove.
Yeah. And with the extra space now that Grey's not in there, and the three of you being quite small, you've actually got a nice amount of space inside there. The wagons take off, and you begin to head. I'm going to reset the music 'cause it's annoying me that I can't hear it. You head further on towards Mirabar. You may have to adjust. Yes.
Would Bungo, in his time travelling, been able to acquire the materials required to cast augury?
Well, those materials are pretty simple, right?
They're 25 gold pieces of specially marked sticks.
Yeah.
He is going to ritually cast augury then, and just ask Lyra if today's travel to Mirabar brings them if it brings them weal and woe, or nothing.
Okay. Can you chuck it in the old chat?
Yes.
Thank you
How do I actually do that? I still don't know how to do that.
It's like a display in VTT, is the thing I always look to.
Okay.
Yeah, or just a red bar that says beyond 20.
Oh, there it is. Boom.
Nice, thank you.
I did it.
Stephen Owen. That you plan to take within the next 30 minutes.
And he's going to ritually cast it every 30 minutes, essentially.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. You got the back of the wagon to use for your space.
Yeah.
That doesn't take into account any possible sex. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, especially with how close you are bringing yourself to Lyra, and however much you can to Bahamut as well. And I will say, in that regard, your connection to Lyra, which has become so strong over your time with your previous adventures and your time with your troop, it's almost as if she's with you a lot of the time. This kind of just out of vision flashes of golden movement on the edge of your eyesight that you've learned not to startle at and turn, but just to know that it's a sign of her being nearby, is now joined by a silver occasional flash of light as well. And in your dreams you catch sight of a joyous maiden dancing in a field, now with the occasional flitting tiny little silver songbird that you think is perhaps a sign of Bahamut's presence beginning to grow as well. But as you're casting augury, very much focused on your rituals, for the most part, with these kind of sequential 30-minute slots, if you like, the results look good.
Okay.
It's casting wheel, not casting, but showing you wheel. There we go. But yeah, as the day wears on, Grey, you would notice that the figures, for the most part, are incredibly boring and just sit and stare. Perhaps an hour into the journey, they actually do something different. They take turns, starting with the one sat next to you, standing up from their seated position, moving to this is in a crouched walk because you're inside a wagon, moving to the Bahamut flag at the front of the wagon, kneeling and taking a position of supplication and prayer in front of it for maybe 5 minutes before standing, returning to their seat, and then another one comes up and does the same. The three of them complete this in the space of maybe 15-20 minutes before sitting back down and just staring straight ahead of themselves.
If Grey had said anything at any point, would any of them respond?
Has any of the things he said been direct questions?
It would have started off. So, what are your names?
They wouldn't have answered that.
There would have been like big gaps in between each question, maybe 10 minutes or so. Something like, "Where do you come from?"
Wouldn't have answered that.
Carry on for now, and if I think of any more, I'll let you know.
Of course. The only other thing you'd notice is that it's surprisingly cold in the wagon. You'd think in a little closed box, even though you're in a northern climb, it feels chilly to the point where you feel chilled even inside your warm weather clothing.
I do think Bungo, on the results of this augury, would he get any kind of vibe from Sandral that she might be like a bit kind of like on edge because of the masked stuff and the fact that Gray's gone and sat with them? Or would she be just kind of chilling?
She'd be like low-key worried. I thought she would have just told everyone.
Yeah, in that, if she just told everyone, then Bungo would be trying to like reassure her.
She's not like feeling bad.
Yeah, I think not reassure her, just kind of like telling her, I think we're safe, kind of for now. Or Lyra is guaranteeing our safety, sort of thing. I don't know how much that would mean to Sandra, but Bungo's telling her anyway.
She'd just placate him, probably. She'd be like, yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. Yeah.
That's sweet. Okay. Well, the day moves along and the wagons rattle along the path. You occasionally hear brief shouts of greeting and passing, particularly from Gildred, as other trade caravans pass each other on the road, heading instead to Luskan, where you're heading to Mirabar. But as you get towards the later half of the day, and it's not yet growing dark, but the afternoon is wearing on. Bungo, if you're continuing to cast your sticks,
yeah,
you would notice that the premonition switches from wheel to woe.
In that case, as soon as that happens, he is at 5th level, going to cast Aid on Blam, Sandral, and Atala for 20 plus max to your HP, maximum HP and current HP.
Amazing. So, Sandral, Atala, and Blam, 20 plus 20 HP to each of you. That's your maximum HP.
I think Bungo's paranoia should usually pay off.
Sandra will be like, what are you doing?
Lyra has warned me of something on our journey.
What did she say?
It's hard to describe. She doesn't speak so much in a literal sense, but she warned me of something is up ahead.
We stop?
I think we should at least walk alongside the wagons. Bungo's going to cast enhance ability again on Sandral and give her Cat's Grace, so she can kind of like go off and start acting as a scout again.
Yeah, so Sandral, you feel yourself even more flexible and dexterous than you usually are.
Yeah, she'd kind of sigh and jump off the back.
Yeah, and with your speed, you're able to easily move
basically
alongside.
a Spidey sense.
I mean, I suppose if you cast every 30 minutes, then yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the next half hour, is what we're doing going to end in good stuff, bad stuff, or neutral?
Bungo would start warning the entire troop that something bad is up ahead.
Okay. Grace, how would you react to that?
Grace would probably be like, The sensible thing to do would be to get back into the wagon.
How much time was in between Bungo? So I'm guessing Bungo like jumps out of the wagon and runs up to everyone else.
I think Bungo would simply use thaumaturgy to call it out, like pretty
That's
loudly.
what I meant.
Oh, okay. Well, how much time was in between him doing that and these guys doing their prayer?
Oh, the prayer happened maybe an hour or so into the journey. They did that a long time ago now. And to be fair, they would have done it again probably maybe an hour ago. So in a journey of maybe... you've maybe been journeying about 6 hours. They did it on maybe hour 2 and then hour 4 kind of thing.
And it's several times, yeah.
Twice, yeah.
Gray would have probably only had one more question before something maybe happens. He would have feigned being hungry and just asked, "Do any of you have a snack?"
Oh, that's super interesting. Do any of you have a snack? Does he have any body language without asking that question?
Yeah, he's like rubbing his belly and kind of waving his hand.
Okay. With that, the one sat next to you, and you being Grey, you absolutely can respond to this, but the one sat next to you would, as you say that, there'd be kind of a shudder that passes through its body, and it would reach out with its left hand to try and grab your wrist, your right wrist.
To try and grab it?
Mm-hmm. Quite quickly.
Okay, well, he hasn't done it sudden enough that I have the choice, so yeah.
Oh,
He'll stick
fuck.
with it.
Nothing, I just maybe got worried.
What's that, Graham?
Yeah, he'll stick with it. He'll get ready to hold hands or whatever.
Okay. The masked figure, whose head is now swiveled to look down at your wrist, has grabbed your wrist and essentially pulled up your sleeve and is like pulling your forearm up towards its face, and it's starting to like bend down towards your forearm. But at this point, the two figures across the way from you both stand up, lightning fast, stride across the length of the wagon, which is only a pace or two, and slam the third figure back against the backboard of the wagon and restrain it. So at this point, your wrist is freed from the grasp of the first one that tried to grab your wrist.
Yep. Gray would probably then shuffle along as far as the bench can take him.
Yep, you shuffle along. The two, they're not repeatedly slamming, they've just restrained, holding at the joints, if you like, so one hand on the shoulder joint, one hand on the elbow, and the third one, the one that tried to grab you, is kind of writhing and struggling in their grip, and you can see from your sharp perception and from things you've noted with them already, the wood that the figure is sat on and the wood of the wagon behind it is straining from the strength of the tussle between these three creatures. But as
so he is sort of fighting back again.
He is, yeah, and you can see from his body language that he's trying to pull towards you. But as you shuffle away and move to the edge of the bench, the tussle seems to subside. The creature stops resisting, kind of straightens its robes and sits back how it was before, and the other two return to their previous seats on the bench across from you, as if nothing has happened.
He'll just roll his sleeve back down and say, "I'll take that as a no then."
Cool.
Bungo
And
is...
then doesn't say anything afterwards.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Bungo is going to cast... Oh, I don't know how... Let me just check something. If you're
Well, before you're casting, how do other people respond to the people calling out? Blam, you keep the wagon going, or are you stopping?
Oh, I didn't hear.
Well, Bungo I don't think Bungo said to stop, right? Bungo, you just said there was danger.
Yeah, he's not making a decision. He's just kind of warning.
Mm-hmm. So you've heard that, Blam, about a warning. Grace, I assume you're keeping the wagon going? Because you seemed quite dismissive of the warning.
What order are these wagons? Are we at the front or the back?
At the back, like I've shown on the screen.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which way was which.
Yeah.
Going left or right.
Grace? Anya, I saw you unmuted.
Oh, sorry. It decided it was doing a weird thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Which is weird because Discord has just done a thing. It would depend. Wait, what would she hear coming from inside the wagon?
You would have heard some movement from inside the wagon, but not much. You would have heard like Gray's muffled voice and some straining, the sound of creaking wood, but it would have subsided. And this was actually a little while back.
Right,
anyway.
but she wouldn't have heard anyone shout help or "Oh my god" or something.
No, but you have just heard Bungo say there's danger. I think Bungo, you said there's like danger up ahead or something, or there's
something along those lines.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't do all that much.
Yeah. Continued. I think Rayla would continue as well, though look for guidance from the front. And at the front, I think Monsieur Gibbon, who's still very angry at Blam, would not react at all. But Gildred would shout back and just be like, "What kind of danger are you talking about?"
Bungo would reply just saying, "There is something up ahead we should expect. I do not know what exactly."
You're quite... Hang on, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to reply with Gildred, but if you've got something else to add.
That's all I was just going to say. Bungo, you might want to get to the top. You're quite perceptive.
Yes, dear, you're right. And he'll try and climb to the top of the wagon.
Yeah, that's not an issue. They're designed to be able to move around and shift up to the front in the seat next to Blam. That's not a problem.
I don't know if you allow me to do this, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
But Bungo, if he's able to, now this usually I think would stay in an unoccupied space, but he wants to cast Guardian of Faith on top of like the middle wagon so it moves along with it. But I don't know if that would work.
Probably not, but it's super cool, so I'm happy for it to work.
Awesome.
Which wagon?
So I think
this one
or that one? I think the second wagon.
Second wagon. Awesome. Do you call out any warning or anything? Or are you just manifesting that
he would.
There?
He would simply say something like he would just say something like, I will cast a protection of Lyra. A protector of Lyra stands before us.
Mm-hmm.
I made a little token for you. I'm going to send you in private, and then you can put it in the thing, if you don't mind.
Sandra's just running around outside. I guess she doesn't see anything.
Oh, sorry. Yes, please make a perception check for me. Thank you for reminding me. Scout Sandra.
I sent it to you privately, Tom, on Discord.
Thank you. Oh, very nice. God, 10. You guys are rolling such crap.
Yeah, not great.
Sandra, you're zipping around. You're reasonably certain that things look okay. The tree cover's actually very far back here. There's a good 200, 300 feet before you even reach any density of trees around the side of the road. So it's just kind of open snow with the occasional deposited boulder or little rock outcropping. And you don't see any issues, any tracks, any sign of creatures, anything at all.
Probably would track on Grey Wagon because she is concerned about those creatures. There be any threat which she actively knows of.
Okay. What does checking on it involve?
Is there doors?
Yeah, there's doors at the back. They're on like a little latch
if the
system.
door was closed, she probably wouldn't open it. She'd just see if she could work anything out, see if there's any vibrations or anything. That's about it.
Yeah, so kind of like hold on to the back and put your ear on the wood kind of thing?
Maybe not even that. Maybe just see if it's rocking.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you don't need any further roll for that. At this point, because this is later on from Grey's interactions, unless Grey you're doing anything, the wagon would very much be still, not rocking at all.
Yeah, then she wouldn't look inside. She'd just... Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, so Gildred would call back to you, Bungo, and just kind of be like, ooh, it's a very fancy creature, looking at the angel. But he'd call out and say, clearly, sir, you are a skilled wielder of the arts, and with you and your muscled friend and your other companions, I'm sure whatever we come across we can handle.
I don't think Bungo's playing this guy much mind. He comes across as a pretty slimy individual in general, and he...
How
What?
dare you!
Wow.
He's just nodding to him and just sort of keeping focused on anything that might be approaching us.
Okay. Sandra's like, that's my new dad you're talking about, motherfucker. Cool. So Bungo's keeping eyes sharp. The guy is keeping them trundling along. The guards have taken note and are like looking out, keeping an eye out.
If Sandral does return to I don't know how you imagine.
She wouldn't.
Oh, she wouldn't. Okay, that's fine then.
No, she'd just be like outside, keeping an eye out, unless
Yeah.
she
In
saw
scout
something.
mode. Yeah.
Tala is sitting at the back of the wagon, looking towards the back.
Oh, very nice. Rear guard.
Mhm.
Smart. Okay. The wagons continue to trundle along, and the sort of adrenaline rush that greeted you, Bungo, with that sudden shift in the augury somewhat dissipates, though your watch stays keen. Seemingly nothing comes to harm you.
Mhm.
You're getting to the end of the half hour, when something does happen. And I'd like Bungo, Atala, because you've expressly said you're looking out the back, and Sandral all to make separate perception checks for me.
I'm also going to say Bungo's readying the Wand of Wonder.
Excited.
It's a
Opening
27.
up Wand
for
of
me.
Wonder. Holy fuck. Yep. Oh yeah, there it is. 27, 12, and then Sandral, is that another one? Or is that the one you just
No.
did for me? 17. Okay, nice. So, Atala, you don't notice much, but Sandral, you do notice some suspicious shapes. Both of you, Atala, you don't notice this, not for the roll, but because you're looking backwards.
Mhm.
But Bungo and Sandral, you notice that up ahead on the wagon trail, there seems to be a number of fallen trees and logs across the road. And you both rolled high enough, particularly Bungo, to notice that in the snow around you, and the trees have, though they're sparsely placed, have grown up a little closer now. There's like shapes in the snow, odd mounds. The snow, it doesn't look like how snow would naturally fall.
Mm.
As mounds in the snow around you. Is there anything you'd like to do as the wagons are trundling up?
I think, based on the fact that he's had a... Fuck, I just need to think. Hold on. I think based on the...
Sorry?
Sandra would be like, it looks like someone's cut down the trees up ahead for a trap.
Yeah, I think with that... Oh, fuck, do I do it? No, it's so stupid. Bungo's not that stupid. It's not that desperate. I think Bungo would at least shout out for the cart to put a stop.
Yeah, and I think with Sandral shouting that and you shouting that, the guards having already been on edge, that's enough for them. They would call up to Monsieur Gibbon to halt the front wagon, and the wagons would pull to a stop leading up to the logs in front of you.
I think Bungo is going to basically wait, and he's going to, at any sign of them being attacked, he is preparing to cast Beacon of Hope on everyone in range.
Amazing. Guardian of Faith.
Charlotte would climb up with Bungo and Bam at this point.
Awesome. Okay, with that, let me just grab Natalie's Guardian of Faith.
Stefan's gonna love it so much.
Yeah, I think he is.
Godzilla.
You'll see.
Is it me?
I will move us over because you've managed to avoid being surprised and ambushed with Sandral and Bungo's perception and general awareness of the surroundings. But as the wagons come to a slow and a stop, the mounds of snow around you burst open, and inside you see a number of thick white-furred figures with big mouths, strong arms. And I'd like everybody to roll an initiative for me, please. So, I had prepared the map earlier with people's positions in mind. Obviously, Sandral, you were off the cart, so you can place yourself wherever you like. And in fact, because you noted the mounds, I will reveal the enemies first, and you can place yourself where you think Sandral would be.
Oh, big man. What the fuck are these things?
You roll a nature check if you like.
Is it those Wendigo things on Hoth?
Yeah, you've managed to wagon your way over to Hoth.
Should have been in between both that wagon and that wagon, because she wants to make sure this one stops.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
I love it.
Technically, it's on the wagon, so I'm going to put it over them.
That's so cool.
Never have I grown it so quickly.
Is that Digimon?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's-
did. Yes,
Did a Digimon.
I got it right.
Natalie, you should be able to drag out yourself in the future. It's under characters in the
Oh,
journal.
awesome. Thank you, Tom.
Guardian of Faith there.
There's two Sandrals. Is there two Sandrals for everyone?
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah, I'll get rid of the old one. There we go. Okay.
Grey
with that
would
in
be
mind-
here, right? Yeah.
Oh, yep, thank you. Very good point. Has everybody rolled initiative?
I will say the Guardian of Faith, by the way, kind of looks like that with the wings, but instead is wearing a crimson robe, and instead of the staff, it's like a scimitar in both hands.
Yeah, it's okay. Is that everyone? Grace, Bungo. Oh, I need to do the guards. Guards. Let's go, guards. Guards did not do great. Okay, for the purposes of this combat, pretty much everyone you'd expect to be a non-combatant is a non-combatant and is taking shelter inside the wagons. The guards absolutely will fight alongside you. Yeah, I think that's it, really.
Grey's suspiciously watching these to see if they fight.
I was about to say, like, are they in combat too, or are they just...
They haven't
Sit back.
moved. They haven't moved
I
at all.
mean,
Well, what is the prize?
I'm extremely nervous about them, Tom.
Cool. So you foiled the surprise, but unfortunately for you, the Yeti still rolled well on initiative, and you guys brought your poo-poo dice to the table today, it would seem.
Yeah.
Yup.
So Yeti.
Do I still have temporary HP?
Yeah, it's for 8
yeah.
hours. So it's actually not temp HP, it's like your max HP is increased.
What?
And your current HP.
Why is that? Why is that different?
Because temp HP doesn't stack and it can't be healed.
Oh, I see.
So that would be for Atala, Grey, and... No, Atala, Sandral, and Blam have all got plus 20 to their max HP. And current HP.
They do a save when they go in the angel's radius, right?
Let me just double check for you. It's been a while. They do a dexterity save, DC 17.
Got it. Both fail.
They both take 20 points of radiant damage.
Woo! The one running towards Grey gets swiped through by the scimitar.
It's only got one hit left though. If it hits on
Oh, it's 50 or is it 60
in total.
Cool. So this one, because these creatures aren't that smart, actually uses its turn trying to swipe at the angel as well. This one, however, is going for Grey. 2 claw attacks on you,
Inside
Grey.
the wagon, is it specifically
Oh,
targeting?
very true, very true. So Grace is driving, so that actually there'd be attacks on Grace.
Surprised he just doesn't go for the horse.
Wow, we shall see why that might be. 2 attacks on Grace. Oh no! I was so
Good
looking
luck.
forward to showing off Grace's amazing AC, but they both attacks rolled stupidly well.
Tom! No!
They rolled a 23 and a 24, I'm afraid.
And then Grace is dead.
As the claws slash down, they deal a total. First attack does 14 and the second does 11. So 25 damage total. And could you then do a
Thanks.
Constitution saving throw for me, please? I actually did these the wrong way around, but it's fine.
No, I can't.
Okay, well, interesting.
Jesus Christ.
If only Jorik was here and he could buff up that.
Indeed. So, it's good that I did this the wrong way around. So you take, because you failed the saving throw, as the Yeti oh my god, I'm rolling so well. The Yeti stares at you, and its ice blue eyes, its chilling gaze attack does 16 damage to you, Grace,
Wonderful.
and you are paralyzed.
Good.
Shit.
Well, I'm down to 12 HP now.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate start, especially considering your AC.
Yep.
This one's going to make 2 attacks against Bungo. 1, 2. What the fuck? I'm rolling ridiculously well. So the first one's a crit.
Holy shit.
Where are your poopy dice, Tom?
With the, I know, with the new crit rules, that doesn't change it that much. So that is plus 4, 12, plus 4, 12, 14, 18. 19 damage on the first one. Some of it is cold, if that makes a difference. And then the second one does 13 damage. I did this the wrong way around again. Can you make a Constitution
How
saving
much
throw,
does
please?
the second one do?
13.
But how much was it to hit?
Oh, 25.
I ain't gonna plot that. Yeah.
roll
So
a
another
natural
13, yeah?
Yeah. And can you do a con save for me,
I
please?
can indeed. Is it against frightened or poisoned?
No.
Normal roll then.
It's the chilling gaze.
8.
What the fuck is happening, you guys? You are
Oh,
paralyzed.
is
as well.
this a separate day from the last time I used Heffalum's help?
Yes.
Then I'm gonna
So you
call
can
out
use it-
Heffalum's help.
Get
It
those
seems
Heffalump.
pretty important. Oh,
Oh,
Hey! And a 13 is just enough.
oh, thank you, PJ Scriggins, or whatever your fucking name is.
The second one, Atala, you said you were on top of the wagon, right?
mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's going to split its attacks. It's going to try its chilling gaze, which is meant to go first, on Atala. So con save for me, please. And then it's going to do 1 claw against you and 1 claw against Blam. That passes easily. So 1 claw against you, against Blam.
Tell me what it rolls, Tom, because I might use my reaction.
What the fuck am I doing? I rolled another crit
Well,
on Atala.
Hang
Oh.
on. I can
Please.
use my reaction. hang on. I can use my reaction to impose disadvantage on the roll.
That's cool
Once
by
per
me.
short rest. I don't know if I need to know it first or. I don't know.
Entropic Ward.
Uh,
Once per short rest, when a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on that roll.
Yeah, so it would be before I rolled, but I rolled so quickly, didn't have a chance to use it, so I'm completely fine with that happening now. So I'll roll again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm still rolling well. Would an 18 hit you?
Yes, it would.
But not a crit.
At least it's not.
So that is just 11 damage, unless you're resistant to cold.
Nope.
And then Blam, the attack against you was a 19 to hit.
Yeah, it's big time. Yeah.
What's your AC, Blam?
14.
Yeah, sorry.
16 into hit.
14. Is it?
Have you not got your items equipped?
Probably not.
Check those out. It's only 6 damage anyway. I low rolled that one.
Hey.
Whoop whoop. And then against the guards. Chilling gaze. Con save. First one. Passes. Second. Passes. Nice. 2 claw attacks for each. Damn. Well. 2. Ooh, the second guard actually goes down like a sack of shit.
Oh, fuck.
Blech. But the first guard is still up and fighting. That's all of them gone now, though. Atala, your turn.
Does... no, don't worry. I was going to say, does he insta-die even with the Beacon of Hope giving advantage on death saving throws, or just...
Oh, of course. Is he within 30 feet? Is it 30? Or
If he
60?
doesn't get death saving throws, then he just fucking dies.
No, I'm happy giving him.
Oh, you're
death
right, it is 30 feet. Fuck, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad, no worry.
He gets eaten. Atala,
Hmm.
the Yetis have attacked.
Yeah. Bongo is down? What's he doing? Is he paralyzed?
No, I'm fine.
He re-rolled it.
Have a lump help.
Full of help.
Yes.
So
It's
glad
gonna
I
get
didn't take the
opportunity to
ability
find me,
upgrade.
Yeah. I mean, if Bongo wants to stay there, then I'm probably not going to do that. She will. Do. Mirror image from the spell storing ring.
Very nice.
Yeah.
3 more Atalas.
I think that's what I got.
Awesome. Sandral. Kieran. Might be fetching tea.
It's possible.
Kieran.
My go.
Yeah. God, I've got Blam in the wrong place.
So, those guys look pretty fucked, but she's here to protect everyone else, not run up there.
Mm-hmm.
Do I?
Time to look at the character sheet.
Well, do they count as animals?
I will check. They count as monstrosities.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't work then. I was going to try and talk to them.
Oh.
No, she will just.
Oh, Atala can talk to them.
She will.
Feel free.
Can use her action to rapier.
Hits because of flanking. Nice.
Then she will flurry of blows. After that, she will. Oh god, where is
Do you
it?
not have second attack?
No, she does.
Okay.
I just need to do this in the right order, otherwise I'm never going to remember. I think I'll use a key point. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Try and stun it.
Oh, yeah. Con save.
Yeah, 15.
Fails.
Okay.
Done.
But then also because she hit it,
Mm-hmm.
she's mobile. She can move out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the grey thing.
Oh yeah.
Then she will. Can she flurry of blows as well as doing that
Yeah.
against this one?
Awesome. Roll that attack. Hits, both of them. Way of damage total. Very nice.
Where's that? Hang on, there's more. Oh, there might be. Attack, some strike. Oh, fuck. What's the one where you can favoured foe? No. What's the one where you
Is that
hit
when
it?
you hit people? Yeah.
Favour foes when you hit people.
Yeah, she'll do
Slayer's
that.
prey, favored foe.
I think they both are when you hit people, if I'm correct.
So for the first one, she would have favoured foed it, and then the second one, the second blow, she would have done the D4.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got magical fists, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh god. Something else.
Yeah. See Sandral pierce a deep wound into the back of the Yeti with a rapier, striking a pressure point. It seems stuck in place and stunned before sliding underneath the horse.
And then her defense goes up by 2 because she's got agile parry.
Oh, you're a Kensei! That's fucking awesome.
Done.
Beautiful. Oh, chef's kiss. Grace is paralyzed. Could you make another con save for me, please, Grace?
Yep. 5. Oh, no, 14.
You pass. You are no longer paralyzed.
Damn it,
Unfortunately-
because I haven't finished reading through all my spells yet.
Well, it is the end of your go, so you've got more time to read.
Oh, okay, cool.
Blam. Blamothy Jenkins.
When you're paralyzed,
When you're paralyzed,
I was just gonna say, can you still do verbal spells? Or are you completely
no, it says
paralyzed?
you can't speak.
Ah, okay.
Can't move or speak. Blamothy. What we
rage.
Rage. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm on this wagon. Would I have to get out the wagon to attack them?
You're on the front of it, so you could just stand on it and attack them if you want.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I'll just stand on it. Let's swing at this guy.
Yeah.
Just do a standard old axe attack.
Nice. That hits easily. Go ahead and roll damage. Oh, 18 points of damage. Was it the guy on the left or the right?
This guy.
Nice. Oof. Another blow like that and it's done for.
Oh, let's do another one. Do I have another one?
Yeah.
I've forgotten everything.
Back to barbarian.
Ah.
That hits.
Yes.
Oh god, this thing is barely holding on alive. Very nice. Is that the end of your turn? Blamothy?
Yes, thank you.
On to Bungo.
I think you skipped over No, you didn't. That was after.
No.
Bungo is going to Cast. How badly is Grace looking?
Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Like a quarter.
Yeah.
Less than a quarter of her starting health.
I think I'm gonna action Channel Divinity Preserve Life.
Awesome. El Clasico.
How much HP do you need to get back to max, Grace?
Quite a lot.
39.
You get 39 HP back.
Woo!
Sweet, thanks.
Bungo is then going to do...
No, it was 41, Tom.
Ah, shit.
Well, actually, then he's going to do 30 to Grace initially.
Oh.
Huh?
And then do 10 to himself. And how much do you need, Atala, to get to 4?
11.
And 10 to you as well.
Mhm.
And then as his bonus action, he is going to cast Mass Healing Word
Oh,
at
yeah.
3rd level, which automatically gets the max amount because of Beacon of Hope. So, on top of that, Atala, Bungo, and Grace, you'll get an extra 14 HP on top of that.
Nice. Only need one.
Wicka, wicka, wah. So Grace, you're back to full. Fucking awesome. So yeah, the burst of golden light from this tiny man, just radiating out golden orange light, the sound of a laughing maiden in the air.
I will show you how awesome Life Cleric is, Anya.
Well, Anya, don't forget your reaction as well with your channel divinity, if anyone ever needs it. Though probably not so much against these Yetis, but yeah.
All right now.
Biggest boyus.
Papa
Biggest-
Yeti.
Big Papa Yeti boy is going to...
Sorry.
He's going to do his Big Papa Yeti boy attack. And he's going to go... Stomp, 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 stomp. And he gets to here. And he slams his 2 fists, knuckle down into the ground, gorilla style. Distends his large simian jaw, and from his throat cascades forth a cone of chilling breath. That's gonna catch Blam and Bungo and Atala and his mate and Central.
And the horse.
And the horse. That horse is definitely dead. So, could each of you make a con save for me, please? Blam, Atala, Bungo, Sandrell, con saves.
I can indeed.
You.
Hey.
For Blam. 25. And then Sandral.
See you, Kieran.
Get his delicious tea. Oh god, Atala and Bungo both fail, but Blam
Shit.
makes it. Yeah, this is a big boy. So those who failed take the full amount. Oh, there were a lot of ones in there. That was a little bit of luck, which to be fair, you guys very much deserve. So, Atala and Bungo, you both take 37 cold damage.
Holy fuck. I need to...
Blam, you take half, and then halved again because of whale skin, so 37 down to 18, down to 9.
How much?
Take 9 damage.
37, did you say?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
that is its ability used.
I need to make a con save to see if I maintain concentration.
And then once Kieran's back,
Nope.
that meme was amazing, holy shit. Yeah. Poke Kieran when he's back, yeah. So, big blast of cold energy, that is its entire turn though. Gray.
Aloha. Okay, so am I right in guessing these guys not reacting?
I haven't moved a muscle.
Holy shit, guys, come on. Yeti boys. Alright. In that case, from the back corner of this wagon, can I see this guy?
If you kick open the
From
door, yeah.
Through the back. Oh yeah, the doors. Yeah, yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, he kicked the door open. Hear the kerfuffle. Kick the door. And I'm gonna take a shot at that one.
Nice.
I'm not cheating, by the way, Tom, but I should have had 5 extra HP because I forgot about Blessed Healer doing the extra healing to myself.
Very nice, very nice.
Oof.
Ooh.
10?
It's a ranged attack, so flanking isn't a thing. 10 does not hit, I'm afraid. Would you like to Heffalump help?
Heffalump help.
I'll be right back.
Let me see.
Everyone who took part in the Battle Royale has a coin from PJ, which allows you to reroll 1 dice once a day, or you can permanently spend the coin to gain 1 random ability score increase.
Who's
Is it an
PJ?
action, bonus action, reaction?
It's free.
Just a free action.
Yeah. Only once per day.
Fuck it, yeah. You'll see the arrow immediately miss. Like, Heffalump help!
Yep, and you hear a little. Let's see if the arrow turns around. Yes, it does. And the Yeti gets an arrow through the back of the skull and slumps down dead. Plonk.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was real in a bad way.
Okay.
Anya, PJ is PJ Squiggins, a very mysterious character that you can see in our Battle Royale one shot and in
I see.
Natalie and Hannah's one shot.
I'm assuming that doesn't. I don't get it then.
You don't know, nor does Atala, sadly.
Typical.
I've got.
Could we ever give them the coin?
Yes, you could. Yeah.
Ooh. And then with that, he'd be like, yes! Kind of fist pump. As he does so, he'll look down and reach into his vest and pull out his amulet and stare into it. And he sees the stars despite it being daytime. And he's going to swap places with the Yeti.
Oh, he's doing the thing! I'm so proud!
I just got back in time for something cool.
He's doing the thing! I made the thing so long ago and he's doing it and it makes me happy. The big Yeti
man.
or the smaller Yetis?
Smaller.
Roger that. That's the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's everything.
Oh, so fucking cool. So yeah, Gray, unbeknownst to anyone else, distracted by the battle, Gray stares down into his amulet, a gift from Celestian, and he sees a starry sky, and the stars align, and as the stars align, time seems to warp and shift around him, and the Yeti's turn that was coming up as they were about to have a go is shifted away, and that's their turn gone.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real powerful and fucking awesome.
Doesn't that make it
How
my
does that
turn
work?
next?
Once, is it per day, Gray?
Once per... Oh my gosh.
Or long rest? Basically, he swaps his initiative count with another creature.
Holy shit, that's so cool.
Yeah, I made it ages ago and I was like, this is a cool idea. And now I finally get to see it in action.
Yeah, it is. So
Yeah.
I'm right in thinking that would technically then make it my go again next?
You shifted with them and they were after the guards. So they
Well, they're dead now, aren't they?
They became.
Oh no, you still got one.
There's one guard left, yeah. So they're gonna get their go, which probably isn't gonna be that impressive. 2 longsword attacks. A miss. And a hit! 8. 8 damage. And the guard is gonna stay there. But so yeah, now it is your go again. Shifting through time.
Again, love it. Alright. Let's do another arrow at the one next to Bungo.
Go for it.
Bonk. Bonk. 11?
This one is actually stunned, so you get advantage, fortunately.
Oh! Holy shit. Thank God for that. thank Celestian for that. Oh, okay. Alright, fine. I get it.
That's what you get for trying to be cool. In 4 rolls, you rolled a 2, a 3, a 3, and an 18.
You're right,
Right.
something is definitely going on with these dice tonight.
Yeah, seriously. And I rolled 2 crits. But that was a massive thing to skip their turn. So, anything else? Bonus action? You want to do running roundy shit? There are trees
No,
around.
I think I'm just gonna bonus action hide in the back of the wagon.
Roger that. Stealth check, please. Which does bring us to the new person at the top of the round, which is Atala.
Oh yeah.
I think I get advantage because I didn't move so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Atala. Grace just rolling his stealth.
Alright, okay.
Oof.
Yeah, 23. You feel pretty well hidden.
Let's do a. Oh, yeah. Let's do a shatter behind them right here.
Awesome. Save on their part.
It's a con save, so they might be alright.
Con save. So it's going to hit Big Boy and the little one next to him.
Yeah.
Got it. Con save for Big Boy. Yeah, it's quite a good modifier, but still. Oh, he rolled really well. Yeah, he makes it on a 25.
Ooh.
And then the little one. Little one only got a 15.
All fails.
Nice.
Alright, ready. Roll. I think it's half damage on the bar.
Roger that.
Oh, it's a low roll.
It's quite a low roll, but still 13 on the smaller one. Whoosh. What kind of sound does Atala's shatter spell make?
Kind of like sound of a shattering, what's it called? Ink vase, whatever it's called.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that everything? Oh, you're still
Um,
ranged, yeah.
Mirror imaged, I think that's what I can really do. I can't, they're going to take opportunity attacks if I move, so.
Cool.
I will stay.
Sandral. Kieran has returned. Been gone for a while, if not.
Yeah, I'm here.
Alright. You need to make a backdated con save for when Big Boy did his cold breath. You
14.
fail. 37 points of damage.
Okay.
That is your turn.
Is she paralyzed?
She's not, no. It's not the gaze, it's just like a big cone of cold
Oh,
spell
yeah,
breath.
like kind of cold. That guy's still paralyzed, right?
Stunned, yeah. Thanks to Gray's switch, he basically gets 2 whole rounds of being stunned.
That's so cool.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Gray, why are you so cool?
Blow, right?
Gonna move down there.
Yep. Flanking. Grace. Hits. With ease.
She'll make it a stunning blow as well.
Nice. And save for him.
Sorry, did I just hear Grace? Or did I?
You're flanking.
Oh, sorry.
The Yeti rolled a 19.
Gee.
Yeah, rolled quite well. Go for the same nerve cluster with your strike, just as Peleus taught you, but this one clearly was dropped on its butt as a child and it's in the wrong place.
I think she will also flurry. Oh, can she also make it a favoured foe?
Favoured foe. Got it.
Yeah, and then she'll do a flurry of blows.
Nice. You got your second attack as well.
Oh, forget that you get
2
I
attacks.
missed that last time.
Oh shit. Yeah, you didn't have to. Both of those hit. So 9 and 5, and then your next rapier attack hits. 14 4 is 18. Yeah, that thing's on its last legs as well. It's
Okay.
in perfect grey kill stealing range. Oh wait, what does your favoured foe do? Is it a D6?
D4.
It's D4, yeah.
Okay. D4.
But that should go on a few of them, right?
Every
That-
hit,
that-
I think.
That's the first attack. Then she gets
Oh,
1,
sweet.
2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so roll them. This could do it. That's a
Shit.
D20. Oh! Oh!
Yeah.
Holy she run 3
Hell.
ones in a row.
That's the only thing you could have rolled for it to still be alive.
Hell yeah.
It's on 1 HP.
Wait, hang on. Did I do enough? I did. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. It looks like you're playing with your food. This thing is like a ragdoll as you're striking your blows,
Go on.
darting around it.
Come on, Grace, punch it.
Grace, your turn. The very weakened Yeti in front of you.
Okay, maybe I won't do what I was gonna do. Which one's the very weakened one? That one or that one? Oh
The
yeah,
one
yeah.
with
Sorry,
Sandral.
I realised that now. That was a very stupid thing to say. I will do what? Fuck it.
Do what?
Do what?
Do what? Do what?
Maybe I should call on my spiritual weapon.
Oh! What is your spiritual weapon, Grace? Let's find you a cool thing.
I picture it like, you know, when we were watching Harry Potter the other day, with
Yeah.
that cool lock with the snake that goes around the edge. I
Yeah.
imagine it being like almost like that kind of movement, but like the platinum dragon.
Like a spiraling dragon.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fucking awesome. But I 100% don't have a picture ready for that. But that's
that's
awesome.
fine.
I'll have a look for you, Tom.
Thank you.
27 to hit,
Yeah.
10 damage.
What does the dragon do? How does it kill the Yeti?
It just fucking plows through its head, and I imagine the Yeti looking like really confused for a second, and then it just plop to the ground.
Beautiful. Cord. I believe that is...
That's my go.
Is it action to summon, bonus action to make it hit stuff? I don't know. There she go.
Yep.
Cool. Blam.
Hit stuff. Let's hit this guy up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still
He's still
stunned,
stunned, so you got advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 7.
7. What the fuck? Is it still stunned?
If you want to. Yeah, he's still stunned.
Mm.
Thanks to Bungo plus... No, thanks to Sandral plus Grey. Oh!
That's more like it.
He is dead.
Yay!
Chopped down. Beautiful.
Did I chop its head off?
Yeah, you 100% did. The Crescent Fall Great Axe just lops off the furry head of this creature.
Can I
rolls in the
catch
snow.
it as it's...
Oh! Yeah? Of course you can! You're just gonna hold it.
I'd like to throw it at someone in a minute, but
Oh! I'm in love. Incredible. Okay, is that your turn? I believe because you got Great Weapon Master, because you killed something, you can bonus action attack something else if you want to.
can I bonus action throw this head at this big Yeti?
Don't roll. Throw. It's gonna hit him. He's a fuck off massive Yeti and just lobbing his mate's head at him. What I want you to do is roll a strength check with advantage. So I'm
Alright.
treating this like an intimidation check using strength. Oh, 17. Yeah, so you throw the head at this creature. It strikes into its chest. The hand comes up to grab it and it looks down. And it looks up at you and... this horrible, despairing roar. You get the feeling it's now only going to focus on you for the remainder of the fight.
Yeah.
I put the Arnia's spiritual weapon in the chat, by the way, Tom.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's so cool. Very nice. I will grab that. Bungo.
Bungo's
Another digit.
pretty... No, it's not. I'm sorry, Stefan. I'm disappointed you. I'm gonna do the fucking same shit I did last time. Channel Divinity.
Yep.
I'm gonna give... How much HP do you need to get full, Atala?
Quite a lot.
How much exactly?
Maths.
Give me numbers, woman.
No, whatever. 65 take away 28 is.
37.
I'm gonna give you 30.
Don't trust Tom's math. He got it wrong for me.
My shame.
30 HP back to you, Atala, and 20 to me.
30, damn.
Yeah. And then Bungo, seeing Grace has summoned her own spiritual weapon, is going to summon my spiritual weapon.
Yeah, the pinwheel.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it at fucking 4th level, baby.
Oh, yeah.
4th level. Grace, that's your one. You select a token, save. And the pinwheel.
I think I can drag it out now, right? Let me see.
It's been too long.
Oh, wait, maybe I can't.
Um,
No, I can't.
Alright, let me get that set up for you, but for now I'll just hand it straight over. Because I do have the token ready to go. In the old uploads. Oh! Yep. Oh no! That's not transparent. Upload. This one. That's not transparent either. Last one. Oh. There we
Yeah.
go. Right.
It'll be on this fucking big guy, by the way.
Boosh! Have you made your attack?
No, I'll do it now.
Yeah, do that while I set it up with a token for you.
It is... Oh, fucking hell. About 12 to hit.
12's not gonna hit, I'm afraid.
God damn, what is that with the rolling today?
Yeah, seriously. Sport, serious.
It's a +9 to hit.
Yep.
It's fine, it's there now. It's there to do its job.
Pinwheel. Go. In journals, Natalie. Can be controlled. Select a token.
Yeah, thank you.
Pinwheel.
It's still not as good as the original one, but...
Oh, the original one's gone now. Still don't understand how that happened. Right, that's saved. Cool. So you did big heals, and then you did pinwheel strike, which unfortunately missed because of Blam's awesome play. In fact, that was fucking awesome. Blam, please take inspiration for that, because I love that bit. This thing is just going to go lumbering past Bungo up to here, and it's just going to fucking go at Blam. So,
Attack of opportunity?
No, I'm still within range of it, right?
yeah, I think so.
It's fucking
Okay.
huge.
But good looking out. So it's going to do its chilling gaze first. So Constitution saving throw for me, please, Blam. See if it can paralyze you. It cannot. You shrug off the effects as you stare this thing dead in the eye. And 2 claw attacks, no advantage. A 19 and a 15.
I'm gonna reaction on the 19 one to manifest wings.
Amazing.
For a puts his AC up to an 18, I think.
Okay, so the 90 still hit.
Needed a 4. I'm sorry, Blam.
Perfect.
So this is halved. So 6, 5. 11 damage to you, Blam, from the one strike that hits you. But yeah, it's very nice that he's only attacking you because this guy can do work. Oh, I need to roll to see if he gets his ability back, which he doesn't. Now it's the Yetis go. They've been stuck in fucking time warp. Is it if they start their turn next to the angel, Natalie, they get hit? Or
Let
is
me
it
just
end
double
the turn or move next to it?
double check for you.
This one's gonna fucking kill the guard.
Guardian of Faith.
Try.
Ooh, that's a miss.
Any
Oh wait.
creature hostile that moves to a space within 10 feet of the guard for the first time on a turn must succeed in a dex save. He just moves into. It's not after where it starts its turn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only when
Oh,
it,
shit.
it's only when it moves within that space.
Oh yeah,
I'll
guard's dead.
put it in the chat for you anyway, just so you can see.
Thank you. Guard's dead, but did soak up both hits, so this thing doesn't get to tear into the wagon yet. This one up here, however, does... Oh, the horse is right there.
Ah, God.
Yeah, now that the threats are gone, this one is just gonna fucking rip the horse out of its
No.
wagon moorings and take off. What's its dash? Yep. This one's nicking your horse.
This one's coming with me.
See you later.
I love him. Smash
He's-
and grab.
He's sorted for his meal for the night. So, okay, the Guardian occupies any creature such that moves to a space last time on a turn. Yeah, so it definitely does because it has to move. So dex save. Oh, 9. So it takes another 20 damage, right? Ooh, fucking hell. But that's that angel all used up, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct.
Ow. Okay, this thing is hurting. But there is a horse right there.
Mm.
Take the horse.
Poor horse.
20. Shit, that one can't quite get off the map, so it's right on the edge of the map with the horse. So both horses, front two wagons have been nicked.
Is the horse alive?
At the moment, they do seem to be alive, yeah. And
Okay.
very startled and unhappy.
Hannah's like, I'm coming, horsey.
I'm coming.
Guards are now dead. So them.
Are
Great.
the other
it's your
two
turn.
horses dead?
The only horse that's still alive is... Well, no, sorry. The two from the front two wagons have been taken by the Yetis.
They're not dead
for a
though.
warm meal. They're not yet dead, no.
Okay, that's good.
But they might die of shock. They're not having a good time.
Yeah.
Gray, it is your turn.
Skish.
Scray's going to do the old thing again. Pop his head out. As he does, he's going to mutter under his breath. If you three don't get involved, you'll have to walk the rest of the way.
Okay.
And take a shot at the big guy.
Got it. Easy target.
Where is
What are
Gray?
you saying
I
that?
can't
You
even
saying
see
that?
him.
Exactly. So
Oh,
good
he's
he is.
there. Fuck. I just
Yeah, it's
see
because
him.
he made his stealth check. So...
Yes!
Okay, so
More
we got
than
some
that.
adding up to do because we're
Way
using
more
new
than
crit
Two
rules.
extra damage on that, so 16 plus 12 is...
Plus sneak attack.
The 5d6 is maximized
Oh
as well.
shit, so that's 30. So 30 plus 16 is 46 plus 13 is 59 points of damage.
Good night,
Holy
everyone.
shit.
Like a fucking bolt, a lightning bolt strikes straight into one side and out the other side of the Yeti, carrying some bone with it as it goes. And the Yeti reels from the strike, the spray of blood out behind it. Very nice.
Oh, how much was it in total?
59.
Ah! Writing that one down. That's a good new record. Bonus action hide again, I guess.
Got it. It can still
another
work
stealth?
because this thing is still furious at Blam. Yes, please. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, just in case it like now takes its attention off Blam, like, what the fuck was that? Oh wait, advantage.
Yep. Although you're already fine. Yeah, 20's fine. Atala.
Atala. Pinks. They got this. They got this big one. That's all good. So she's gonna aim at this one down here because it's still gonna probably try and kill everyone in this carriage. Does it look like it's going for the carriage?
Now that the horse has been nicked by someone else, yes, it does.
Okay.
It's about to try and open up the can of beans in front of it.
Would it be hard to see because of the carriage?
I might give it half cover, yeah. But it is pretty big. It's looming over the carriage.
So, let's do Psychic Lance. So, it's an intelligence save.
Oh god. Okay. I will make my intelligence save. That is a 3.
Hey. So, 28 damage.
Holy shit. I saw the
Apparently.
ones, but then I saw the 6s. 28 psychic damage.
Yeah. And is incapacitated until the start of your next turn.
Oh. Bleh. Much of that. It just stands there drooling. Its eye twitching on one side. Bleh. Very nice.
That's it.
Anything else? Sandra. Quinzel.
Yep, she runs over.
Oh god, this thing's incapacitated.
Because she gets advantage, right?
This is the one I always get confused by. No, it can't take actions or reactions. So no. But I mean... Yes. Definitely hits.
Yes.
Definitely hits. Stab, stab. Oh!
Then to run on to 10.
Nope, it's dead.
Oh. Oh, good.
You run it through with a dual rapier strike,
How far step of the wind?
and it slumps to the ground.
I like how when Sandral rolls, it's Sandral's picture, but when then Kieran rolls, it's Zelodius' picture.
So if she used a dash action, could she get up there and use her arm to hit against that guy?
I think the dash is a bonus.
Yeah.
Oh right,
There's no way to action it out.
She will get up in its face though.
Awesome.
Step for the wind.
Practically glide across the top of the snow. You zoom over to it. Grace.
No,
Oh, God.
not today, thank you. Is there only the one Yeti left now?
Right on the edge of your vision, there's one making off with a horse. There's another one making off with a horse just off the map over here. And then there's the massive one with a big hole in it now, thanks to Grey. But that is just furiously glaring down at Blam.
I didn't know where you were going with furiously for a second then.
Furiously masturbating all over Blam.
That's me in like 2 hours. No, sorry, that's gross.
Grace is going to cast Hold Monster on the big.
Ooh.
Holy shit!
That sounds cool.
What do I
It's
do?
a DC 16 Wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
What is that?
What?
I rolled a 7.
Haha!
What happened?
So it is paralyzed now.
Oh shit!
At the end of each of its at the end of each of its turns, the target can make another wisdom saving throw on a success. The spell ends on the target, but obviously it's got to do that first. And it's at
It's
the end.
fucking
turn.
dead now. Blam's gonna
Oh.
crit it.
God. I also love how the Yetis are like, yeah, we can paralyze you, and Grace is just like, have a fucking taste of your own medicine, you piece of shit. What does it look like? Is Grace like holding out her hands? Is she casting from the locket around her neck? What's going on?
I like to think that it's like the spiritual weapon, but it's like it's come up out of the ground and it's just twisting around and around the Yeti.
That's fucking awesome. Very cool.
Nice.
Constricting it. Well, yes, it is. Oh wait, do you want to move your spiritual weapon? I don't think you can quite get there. But you can...
No, it's not a spiritual weapon thing. It's just.
No, you
It's
can.
just-
With your bonus action, you can make your spiritual weapon move.
Oh. No.
So move 20 feet.
It can move. It can only move 20. Oh no, the other one's dead anyway. Don't matter. No, don't worry.
Okay. Blam, your opponent is paralyzed. You roll with advantage and auto crit.
Yay!
Would you like to do great weapon? Oh, it's up to you. Do
Um,
as you please.
How do you do auto crit?
I think you can turn it on the roll 20 thing.
Yeah, you can on Beyond 20. If you click on Beyond 20 on D&D Beyond, George, it should
Yeah.
be a button that says Force Critical Hits. And you can select it on.
Where's... Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. And then I just roll, right?
Yeah, to see if you hit. With advantage, though.
I gotcha.
17.
Yeah, that hits.
Yay!
Very nice.
Should be plus 10 damage to that.
Yeah.
28,
Oh, and you get brutal critical. Jesus fucking Christ.
39 points of damage.
You didn't even do great weapon master, you motherfucker. Yep, next hit.
Oh.
God, I'd forgotten the Blam War Machine. Yep, that hits.
An extra 8 points of damage, 18 plus 27, 36 points of damage on the second hit. Because he crit, he gets to make a third attack with the Great Weapon Master.
He does indeed.
Yay!
This is like watching a lumberjack with a chainsaw. Oof! That was a crit anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll the dice.
Yeah!
An extra 9 damage, so 18, 21, 33 points of damage. He just did like nearly 100 points of damage in
It
one
was
turn.
over 100. It was
Yeah.
definitely over 100. Jeebus. Yeah, anyone who hasn't seen it before, so Grace and the other members of the caravan, perhaps Atala, just watches as this man just goes about his fucking business, carving great wounds across this Yeti that is now more blood than fur and just teetering and swaying in place.
Dear Christ.
It's still alive.
It is still alive. I had buffed it up with some extra HP, which has now gone.
Well,
Never thought I'd get to a point where Nigel felt emasculated.
Bungo!
I'm gonna cast Inflict Wounds at 5th level.
Nice! Do it. Advantage on the roll. And auto crit as well, I guess.
23 to hit.
That hits.
Oh shit, I
And it
didn't put...
auto crits.
Let me quickly switch that on. I'll probably need to re-roll it quickly.
Yep, that's fine. I want to see the numbers. Roll!
clicking it and it's not doing it for some reason.
Look a bunch of better. It's
Yeah.
maximized though, so it's actually.
Oh shit.
Oh God!
Why
Stop
did it...
rolling.
Sorry, I didn't.
That's
Oh my god, why does it keep rolling? I'm sorry. I only clicked it once.
It's already dead.
It's
So I'm taking the first one, but it's maximized.
it's 100
so
points of damage.
70 plus 30, which is 100 points of damage.
Man, these guys make the water decrease suck.
What does it look like, Bungo?
It's as you might expect. Bungo watches as Blam carves many wounds into this thing, and Bungo simply paces a hand forwards and touches it on the side as it's distracted by Blam, and then this necrotic energy just surges through his hand, and all the wounds that Blam carved up just suddenly turn green, and he rots from the inside out.
Oh, and there's just this not smoldering, steaming carcass of half-rotted flesh and fur slumps to the ground, unrecognizable. That would bring us to the Yetis, which are going to continue to dash. The only person I think that could potentially catch either of them is Sandral.
It's running
Does-
away.
Does Sandral have any intention to chase after them?
No, it's running away. She's not chasing it.
Okay. And with that, combat.
Bungo does want to do something though.
Yeah?
In the rest of combat. He's had them for a long time. He's going to use up both diamonds to revivify the guards.
Oh, shit! Yeah, it's been less than a minute. You can absolutely do that.
Yeah, that's what...
Another side of Bungo's magic, as you see Lyra's light pour into these creatures, and where the Yeti had been rotted, now these creatures are given back life as they gasp and open their eyes once more. Damn.
That's what Bungo would do.
So what? Are the guards going to now pull the wagons?
There are options. There's still one horse left. There's this guy. La 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 la. On the wagon, these guys inside knew that they didn't need to worry about. But yeah, with that, combat draws to a close.
GG.
Played everybody. Gildred, Fireforge, bursts out the back of his wagon. It's just like, oh my! You weren't joking. That was terrifying. Thank you all. I must repay you for your valiant deeds. That one was like a hurricane with an axe, and you channeled some great power, and you with your dragon, and that one fired a bow real well, and that one, I was very impressed.
I'm just glad we could have been here and been of help.
Dare say without you all, we would all be just so many bodies in the snow by now.
I do.
Sincerely, thank you to you all. He immediately starts moving around and expressing love in the only way he knows how, which is throwing money at people. And he gives you all 200 gold each.
Why can't this guy be my dad?
I will accept that.
Excellent. Make sure you add it to your inventory.
I do wonder what brought these Yetis so far south. I know that it's not completely uncommon for them to venture, but still, so many of them. And they seem almost desperate.
I think the Dragonborn Ganks would speak up at that point, and in a very nervous, adrenaline-fueled tone would just say, yeah, you're right, of course. They usually keep to the mountainside. The slopes is their home. Usually with instinctual creatures. Takes a bigger threat to drive them from their home. Don't like to imagine. I'm glad I'm not going into the kind of catches himself. He realizes that's where you're all heading.
Yeah.
Bungo's gonna cast he's gonna cast 4 lots of cure wounds on anyone who needs healing, including himself. So Sandral, he'll use the feet version first.
Hang on a minute.
Oh,
What
God.
time of day is it, Tom?
This is early to mid-afternoon.
Afternoon. Tyler's gonna put on a little candle bungo, so you can do it as many times as you want. First level.
Oh shit! Well, he'll use enough cure wounds to get everyone back to full health.
Excellent.
There you go. So that's, I think you get 10 in a minute, right? So how many minutes should I take off? Do you need to do it more than 10 times?
That's fine.
No.
I mean, we might as well check, right?
Yeah, roll if you want. Hit that button.
Okay, this is on Bungo. It's 2.
Yeah, you're gonna
3,
easily hit it within a minute.
4, 5. Let me check how much that is.
You've already healed everyone back to full.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Nice.
Boosh.
Cool. Yeah. Very useful little candle.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you are surrounded by carnage, bloodshed, some very grateful caravan people, some people who are still just sitting in their wagon on their seats, who haven't moved at all this entire time.
Bungo is going to approach... Sorry, Kieran, you go ahead first if you want.
Sandra would be like, who's actually leading this expedition? Because maybe they should just be deciding who's going to walk. There's only one horse left. She's saying it's a him.
Yeah, I think at that point he would realise that the horses have gone and be like, well, I, myself and Monsieur Gibbons are the leaders of our part, but Grace is not under our jurisdiction. It is her own. We just joined together out of convenience, and the same with a lot of you.
Well, we don't mind walking, do we? She says to our group.
Bungo would smile and nod.
But, well, I guess you should take it up with Grace who gets the horse then. I mean, it's Grace's horse, right?
Yeah, it's her wagon.
You can't, own a horse, man.
I think he would sheepishly, sort of wringing and tugging at his beard, go up to you, Grace, and say, Madam Gods, I don't suppose you'd spare a spot in your wagon for an old man. The cold and the snow, it creeps into the old knees and joints. I could pay you for the time.
Of course. I have a soft spot for you, Gildred. I would be honoured to carry you in my cabal.
Oh, thank you, madam. Thank you.
Might I suggest the 3 hoods inside? Since they didn't get involved in that kerfuffle just then, I'm sure they have the energy to walk along.
Grace?
I don't know. I'm eating shark-flavoured gummies. Shark-shaped gummies, sorry.
Shark-flavoured gummy.
Shark-flavoured, delicious.
Oh, fucking hell, what's wrong with you?
Would Grace turf out the hooded figures? On Grace's suggestion? They certainly didn't help during the fight, they just sat there.
Were they... What was their resistance to?
To bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Oh, if it was cold, Sandra would have said something.
No, they're vulnerable to the cold.
Okay.
But Grace doesn't know that. Grace would probably helpfully suggest that, given he's an older man and they are seemingly young, I'm guessing from their gait, that they may give up a space for Gildred.
How does she phrase it?
Like that.
So it's like implied what she wants them to do.
Yeah.
I think they'd look at her and not do anything.
Tom, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
With the Wand of Wonder, Tugly, fucking Bungo has only seen like good things come out of it, right? I think nothing ever bad happened from it in the campaign, and since
Is either
then-
good or useless.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I think so.
he's feeling lucky. He's gonna see if he can summon another elephant child.
Oh, to pull the wagon.
Exactly.
Yeah, roll your D100.
Amazing.
No,
Oh,
don't
boy.
know. It's already not. Oh, that might be really bad.
Where did he point it at?
Over here.
Okay. A small bead of red light coalesces at the edge of the wand,
Yeah, I've just seen it.
flies forward to the tree, and fucking explodes loudly. 20 feet, right? So I think Bungo's out. Yeah,
That's
20
not
feet.
quite what I was expecting. Never mind.
What was
I think
it?
these guards think you're
I
like some
cast-
strange evil deity right now.
I cast a fireball.
There was a
Uh,
yeti hiding behind the tree.
Just
Um,
checking.
Grace, do you say anything further to these people? They are looking at you.
She would probably say something along those. I would request that you would give up a seat for. What's his name again? Gildred?
Fireforge.
Mr. Fireforge.
Okay. With that, one of them stands up, steps out of the wagon.
I thank you.
Gildred. Fucking all the poker. Yeah. Gildred climbs it.
Did Gray see which one it was?
They're all the same, Stefan.
Oh yeah, but did I see which? Like, I would have remembered which one sat next to me.
Mm-hmm. It was the one
Which
that
one
sat
sat
next
across
to you.
me? That got out. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Oof.
Does anybody want to do anything with the remaining wagons? Or are you all just gonna hoof it on foot towards Mirabar now?
I think if we got 10 minutes, Atala's gonna sit down and do her ritual, water walk, to make it easier for people to walk on the snow.
That's
Nice.
awesome. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. That works.
Sandra would be asking people if they've got any valuables in their wagons, and if they want to. Well, they shouldn't take too much because they're walking.
Yeah, I think they'd be quite grateful at the little bit of leadership you're showing Sandra Allen would be trying to organise themselves.
She would
The-
also suggest that if they've got anything valuable that they can't take, maybe they should bury it in the snow.
Damn. Yeah. These two, then, the couple, you would see pulling out multiple small chests and sealed barrels and moving it behind this tree and beginning
Would the
to
rocks be
dig.
better?
Yeah, if you're helping them out, they would absolutely follow Sandral's direction.
She'd,
Hang on a
yeah,
minute.
put snow on it.
And yeah, she'd hear very loud jingling from each of the boxes as they move them down into the ground.
Can Bungo? Oh God, my voice. Can Bungo do another insight check to see like the way Gray's acting around these Mars fellows, and now they've stepped off the wagon? I feel like he'd get another vibe from Gray. Like not, it's like I feel like he knows Gray well enough to know when he's like fucking with someone for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you need to do a check for that. I think that's a fair inference.
Yeah.
Inference.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Cool.
You can't do anything right now, but
Okay. Taking off. Yeah, grab what you can. Some of the tarpaulins and such,
Oh,
but there's...
sorry. Go on.
That's all right.
Bungo.
I was just going to say there's plenty of strength amongst you to carry everything you need to carry.
Bungo would approach the Submarchian, and he would ask him if there is anywhere in Mirabar where he may be able to purchase diamonds.
I think that would actually be his response, and he would quickly check himself and be like, I don't mean that I don't mean to offend my boy. Yes. Yes, and yes, and yes. We are, in the great city of Mirabar. We specialize in gems, precious metals, worked stone, everything you could need. Whatever size, shape, quality, cut of diamond you need, I guarantee, with everything you've done here, on my word and my standing in the city, you will be, it will be made available to you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Of course.
I'm glad none of us were truly hurt.
Well, only thanks to you, those two guards will be thanking their lucky stars that we our fortuitous meeting on the road.
Quite, well, let us thank Lyra.
He gives a solemn nod to that appreciation.
Bungo is actually going to walk with the guards. And he's just going to walk alongside them and say, hail, friends.
I think they would, like, do a very strong salute to you.
Please, at ease, I suppose. I do not wish any reverence from you.
We can't really help it, sir. You, doesn't bear thinking about, but we were gone and then, they're kind of glancing at each other, then weren't gone anymore.
Well, Lyra watched over you this day, so I hope you'll say a prayer to her when you're having a joyous night out on the streets of Mirabar.
We'll certainly be celebrating, but begging your pardon, I don't know who this fair Lyra is.
Oh, well, she is a lesser deity as far as the pantheon of gods go, but she is, you best would know her as the Joybringer. When you enjoy a mug of ale on I imagine your many nights out between you two, and when you feel that warm feeling in your belly, you should know that is Lyra watching over you.
We give a nod, and they're listening to you quite rapturously as you explain it all to them.
Please, I would very much like to know your names.
John Cena.
He wouldn't have died then.
That's true. They would introduce themselves as names that I will think
Mary
of
B.
now.
Pickles.
Sorry,
No,
I didn't mean
they-
to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I want some good northern names.
John Ham.
John Ham.
Wait, is this the horses?
One horse. There's only one horse left, but no.
Oh, okay.
It's the two guards that Bungo brought back to life.
Sorry,
Well,
no,
you
I
are
don't know
very
why my
grateful.
brain was like, it horses must make horse pun. Sorry.
Holy shit, some of these names in the generator are so amazing.
I love the name generator.
The surnames are out of this world. Grurkarth Greatbelly and Larth Grizzlybender.
Is that their names?
No, it's not. I want some nice names. So the male guard, there's a male guard and a female guard. The male guard will be Robin. Robin Stonesmith.
Robin
Right,
Stone
Georgie's
Smith.
Georgie's been getting into this anime or manga that's got a character named Dick Saucer.
Amazing.
It's like
Yeah, I like
next
those.
D&D character.
And then the female will be Astrid.
Love the name Astrid.
Yeah, me too. Astrid. Trying to think of the maddest student name I've had.
Vesemir.
Astrid Neller.
Nella.
Kneller.
Oh,
Those were some students to remember.
I remember someone called Nella in my brother's class. Maybe
Yeah,
they
there's a lot of
related.
Nellers around.
Yeah, Bongo
Cool.
would take notes of the names, and he would just say and he would actually hand over 10 gold pieces each to them.
Oh, no. They would resolutely refuse that. They would say, you've done so much for us. We can't possibly accept this.
Bongo's going to be pretty forceful.
Go on, make a persuasion check. This is the perfect place for that check. Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they would definitely stay your hand, but with a smile and thanks, and they'd ask what you wanted to grant them that for.
He would simply tell them that it was a gift for their families, and just something to pass along, and to just spread the joy.
Yeah, I think they would say to you that you've given their families the greatest gift that you can by allowing them to return to them, but that they would tell this story to them, and that they would, if they can find a shrine or temple to Lyra in Mirabar, then they will visit it, and if not, then they will start one of their own.
He appreciates it, but he sort of lets them know he doesn't expect them to or anything like that. He just genuinely, like, sincerely wants to just spread joy in his own way,
Of course, yeah,
as Bungo does.
as Bungo does.
Yeah, that's all I
Okay.
wanted to do.
Awesome. Okay, so you travel along back now on foot. It's a little bit more miserable. The wagon speed has to be slowed to match those that are foot slogging, though made much less unpleasant by Atala's intelligent use of the water walking spell, meaning you all get to avoid building up soggy boots from the snow.
I am gonna put my crampons on though, and my
very nice.
snowshoes.
No shoes.
It does only last an hour, so she'll just continuously cast it when she sits on the wagon.
Yeah,
Well, you say that. Grace can do it too, actually, so we could alternate to save spell slots if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it ritually, so it doesn't cost.
Oh,
us
okay.
a
Yeah,
point.
sorry.
But yeah, we can do if you want.
you both pitch in, and it makes things even easier as you move forward towards the end of the day. You draw up camp. The guards and Gildred, and to a lesser extent Monsieur Gibbons as well, know the road fairly well, so you're not having to check for great places to pull the wagon over to. You find a decent spot with some shelter amongst some large rocks. You use the wagon and the tarpaulins available. It's a lot less cozy than it was the night before, but you clear the ground, start a fire. There's still food. You salvaged everything you could from the wagons that were left behind. And you settle in for another evening of a night spent under the stars. Is there anything anyone would like to do in this time as another day closes out?
I'm ritually casting augury, like, just to check
Mm-hmm.
if anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see this before, by the way, Tom. So actually, I
Yep.
probably won't do this, but it just if you cast a spell 2 or more times before completing your next long rest, there is a 25% chance of each casting after the first that you get a random reading.
No.
So I didn't read that before.
That's fine.
But-
it was your closeness with Lyra
Yeah.
that allowed you to do it.
He won't do that. He won't do that. He might do like one every
Yeah,
like 3 hours.
that's fair. Yeah, and you find that now that you're settled in for the night, it just gives you a neutral reading. Yeah, you get the feeling that before, because you were heading towards your destination, it was reading as good, but now that you're settled in, it's just neutral. But unless anyone has any thoughts or things they want to do, Gray have any new ways to troll the masked guys?
No, Gray would just be quietly observing from a distance now rather than poking them.
But Bungo will approach Gray actually, and he will kind of inquire about his thoughts about the 3, because he's, as you said, he's sort of noticed that Gray's sort of taken an interest.
Well, yeah, Gray wouldn't. He'd keep his voice down, so he's not trying to advertise it to everyone nearby, but he would pretty much just inform Bungo of the whole event that went on, as much detail as he can remember.
Would Gray share the stuff that Sandral said as well?
She's already said that.
She's already said it to Bungo, okay.
Yeah, she said it in the part.
Okay. Just checking for what I need to prepare the next day.
I forgot to ask, during the whole event of what happened, none of them made any noise, did they?
Nope, they sat perfectly still and silent. It was almost like you were hiding behind bushes or what have you.
Well, no, but during the event of when they rolled up my sleeve and they pinned him down and stuff, none of them made any noises, right?
Interesting. Roll, what's your passive perception? And actually, roll a perception check on top of your passive perception.
Kieran,
Yeah.
why is there a cantrip in my known spells called Cone of Ice Cream I could learn?
Because Dewey had it in
Yeah, no, I'm just,
Cormir.
Oh, I picked Cone of Ice Cream.
Oh my god, sounds amazing.
It's canon now. It's
Just
in
a-
there.
It's just a tabaxi thing.
My passive
yeah.
is 19.
Oh shit. Okay, then definitely yeah. Yeah, you would have heard something, Gray. I should have told you about this at the time. That's a really good point. You would have heard as the figure was leaning down, starting to lean down towards your arm before they were restrained by the other two. You would have heard like a dry rasping sound, like someone desperate for a cold glass of water at the end of a hot summer's day. The kind of dry throat rasping you would have heard with such a high passive perception. You would have heard dry, cracked lips parting and a dry rasping sound from a throat before they were restrained.
Yeah, Gray would have probably just described it as weird noises, but it's good to know.
Yeah. Anything anyone wants to do?
Just some flavoury things. Would you say that shape water could move ice and snow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, just makes little tiny like igloos around everyone's little camp area.
Oh.
Probably without the roof, it'll probably collapse, but you know, just to make it warmer.
Amazing. I love that. And you would find that as you were starting to do that, the members, particularly of Grace's troop, would be trying to help you as much as possible and just using their hands and perhaps some waxed skins to protect their hands as they move some of the snow themselves and start building things up. And it goes a long way to making the campsite a lot more less exposed, a lot nicer to sleep in. Very nice.
And she also has little dancing lights around everywhere.
Oh,
I
fucking
think
awesome.
I think Bungo would at the end of the night, sort of after he's just, being Bungo and getting mixed up with everyone in some way or another, I
Mhm.
think he would return to Atala, who I imagine is maybe made up a little igloo shape for herself. And he wouldn't particularly say anything, but I think he would just take her hand and just lead her inside the igloo, and then I imagine that him maybe casting light on a campfire and keeping it warm, and then just sort of holding each other's hands, both hands locked together, and just sort of sitting next to the fire and just quietly appreciating each other's company.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. And I think you would definitely feel the swirl of Lyra's presence as the joy swells in yours and Atala's heart. As you take this moment of sanctuary with each other, you would feel Lyra there nearby as well.
Couldn't Bungo do an insight check on Lyra?
I thought you were going to say on Atala then. I was like,
No.
no! Yeah, go ahead.
He's kind of... Bungo's concerned, I think, about what is ahead. Just so you get an idea of his mindset, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's always this at the back of Bungo's mind, this little, worry about him being called upon again in the way he was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he's trying to read from what her intentions are. You got a 12. Not great.
Yeah, it's not the best role, but your connection to Lyra has been multifaceted and has great depths to it across your time. You've experienced Lyra in her different forms that you already knew of before you experienced it yourself, but you've experienced her as a well of power to strike down those who would rid joy from the world. The Yeti today, corrupted from the inside. You've experienced Lyra as a vengeful deity. You've experienced her as this avatar of pure joy and goodness and everything you would want to bring to the world. I think probably most avidly and powerfully so in your storytelling troupe, when you've seen whole villages of people light up with joy at the stories you've told. Something Lyra has always been in every one of these facets to you is forceful. Her quest for joy across the world is not one she has ever delivered or taken lightly, and you do very much feel now that she is, as a friend and a patron and in full acknowledgement of you as a faithful devotee, you do feel she is trying to sweep you up again into a force for her.
I think with that, then he would, after spending time with Atala, there's one hand he's placing in her hand in front of the fire, and there's another hand that kind of draws one of the satchels he's carrying with him that contains his scarlet robes and the quarterstaff, and he's just sort of keeping it close but almost at a distance at the same time, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense, yeah. Gripped tight, but in a full arm's length away.
Exactly.
Okay. Amazing. Is there anything else from anybody before I close the night out? You all good? Yeah?
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Atala. In the early hours of the morning, nothing comes to you or affects you. You occasionally check in and see the three masked figures still sat silent around the fire. But what is your passive investigation, Atala?
Yeah, investigation is 16.
Okay. Yeah, I think you would. You notice something in your bag. Your bag looks more full. There's something in there that wasn't there before. If you check your inventory.
She will
That's cool.
look inside it. Yeah, probably have
May
to
have to
refresh.
refresh, yeah.
Feed. Hello.
You thought you could get away!
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So, you reach
Yeah.
into your bag, a little bit wary, and you pull out this cube. A perfect cube, a small box shape made of stone. Smooth to the touch, though the edges of the cube are sharp, as if something has been cut with a sharp blade into this cube shape. It is about the size of a clenched fist, and it can sit in your palm. It feels warm to the touch, almost like the warmth of a live body. It doesn't feel as heavy as a cube of this size of stone should do. And as you kind of heft it in your hand, you can feel there is something inside the cube moving around and gently knocking against the sides. Not of its own volition, but just as you move it. Almost like there's another inanimate object within the cube just knocking slightly loose within the cube itself. You feel a sense of purpose, and you can't help but take a moment to look around the camp, seeing those bundled up in blankets, furs, waxed leathers, some in the last remaining wagon to get away from the worst of the cold. And there's a part of your mind that, as you look around, feels the same feeling that you used to feel back in what feels like a past life now, in the libraries, surrounded by tomes, endless books, knowledge and skills and stories untold, just waiting for you to break into them, a feast waiting to be consumed. And now as you look around at every sleeping body around you, and you take note of your own awoken self, there's a moment of separation and a moment of a shifted perspective, as every sleeping person, slumbering, eyes moving behind their closed lids, you think that every dream they have could be another route, another tome, another piece of this feast of knowledge that awaits you. And as you cast your eyes around, your eyes naturally go to the one closest to you, to Bungo, slumbering happily away in his pile of blankets and furs. And your hand singes suddenly, burnt fingertips, as you look down and see that on one side of the cube, a deep scarlet colour has emanated on one side, and the symbol of Lyra has burnt itself across that face of the cube. There's a sense of satisfaction, of connection, though you do also note that Bungo himself stirs restlessly and unhappily, a light moan as if a nightmare suddenly has come upon him in his slumber. But, as if beyond your own volition, you sit and place the cube back into the bag. You don't feel that you're not allowed to take it out, but there's a sense of it being something for you, not for others. And you sit, you ponder, and you wait, as you do every night, for those around you to return from wherever they may be as they sleep.
Oh.
and dawn breaks, and everyone waits. And I think with that, we'll finish the session there for today.
It's a sneaky, creepy box, Tom.
It is indeed.
Get some mystery.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
that's a box.
What's
and
in
I
the
want you
box,
to
though?
What's in the box? What's in the box? It's the Yeti head you threw at the big Yeti. Yeah, so keep an eye on that, because depending on what happens, as you saw something just happened now, I will be changing the text within the item description as things move along, and there's going to be questions to ask and things to do, but I'll let you ponder on that.
Is everyone
That's
else
really
allowed
cool.
to see it? 'Cause if not, then
You can make a decision about that. You had a feeling of it being something of your own. You didn't have any, like, sense of repulsion at sharing it with others, just a sense of it being your own.
I mean on the old character sheet. that everyone can see.
People can look at it, yeah.
As everyone rushes to her,
Sneaky box. But yeah, well played, everyone. That was a really good RP. I loved that.
That's really fun.
That was fun. Yep. Cool.
In true Blam style, inevitably my favourite moment is him fucking catching the Yeti's head and throwing it at the big Yeti. So good.
That's a big yes.
Can I catch the Yeti's head? Yes, you can. Can I throw it at the big Yeti? Yes, you can. That's how you play D&D. Ugh.
Oh god. Well, what's my new character going to be next session, Tom?
Oh yeah. We got to come up with a no. We haven't. How does it feel playing Grace? You didn't use your channel divinity at any point. Yeah, you didn't have to really. I don't think. Yeti's
No.
a very low AC. But yeah. Well done, everyone. On your way to Mirabar, that fight could have gone very differently.
I used 2 diamonds on 2 random guards.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay.
That's what Bongo would do.
Yeah, that was it. That hasn't gone unnoticed by Lyra. It was a very big deal.
Is Lyra going to give us
Telltale
some
the
diamonds?
gods noticed that.
No. Lyra's gonna be like, well done, my boy.
You
Give
did
you some
good.
claps.
And then when they start their little temple to Lyra and Mirabar, and then the dwarves come along and they're like, nope, shut this shit down right now. That's not Doomathoin. What is this shit? But yeah.
You're
But-
either the Allhammer or you're nothing.
I thought we'd get so much further, but that's typical for my planning. That's nice.
I was
means
worried
don't
we'd
have to do any
completely,
planning
like-
for next week.
I
Yeah.
thought we were gonna hang around the port town a bit more.
Luskan, was it's because you'd said like you wanted to get a move on.
Just get moving, yeah.
Yeah,
There was
fuck
nothing
saying
significant there.
Yeah.
That's the pirate town, Stefan. That's where bad shit happens.
Yeah, if you had stayed around, it would have been an interesting time.
Okay.
You can always go there on the way back, assuming you survive,
Let's
You
go
go there
party.
to drown your sorrows when you don't get joy.
Well- We'll take Jarek there. We're like, come on, Jarek, let's party.
And he'll be like, I am dead inside.
I am not Jarek.
Oh yeah, how'd you like the 3 masked people? Aw.
That's-
I don't like them, Tom.
I did wonder how long it would take people to poke them, and of course, Grey is immediately like,
Master Poker.
Humpst. These people aren't normal people.
Me and Kieran have theories, don't we, Kieran?
Well, more like we know.
Yeah.
That was great though, Kieran, with the hunter scent. That was fun.
Though it does make me I wonder why they're out here.
Mhm. Yep, that's a question you gotta ask yourself.
Yeah.
All you know is
No
that
spoilers.
Grace met them in Luskan.
I'm nervous.
They just went on a little trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, little day trip.
Yeah.
See the world.
School trip.
Coach trip.
Coach trip. But yeah, next sesh we got some stuff. Maybe you'll get to Mirabar.
I want to go to that tavern.
Yeah, it's waiting for
Ingvar's
you.
house.
Go to
Mm.
his
So
bedroom.
how far did we get in the end?
You
How far
got
we got to go?
you've still got a fair way to go. You got about 4 days still to go. No, 3 days still to go
Yeah, that sounds about right.
on foot.
Through
So
some
glad.
dodgy mountains, we'll be alright.
I'm so glad you let Submarchian go in the wagon. He's very pleased about that.
He's such a boss.
You said he was slimy.
Yeah.
No, the other guy was slimy.
Oh, yeah, the other guy's slimy. I love the other guy though. He's great.
No, that guy was nice. I like that guy.
Yeah,
It was just the actual slimy guy that was slimy.
he's the best. I was half expecting Blam to be like, "Yeah, I'll be your bodyguard for 2 days, and then I'll fuck off and take pocket the 800 gold or whatever."
Oh, that would have been a good idea.
Still time. Right. With that then, thank you all. Is there any disruption for next Sunday? Does anyone need timing change or anything?
Who knows?
I
You can always check in the
might
chat.
need to. I don't know because I'm seeing my cousin, but I think she's going back by about 5:30, so it should be okay.
Okay. Cool.
Keep us updated.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'll let you know though.
Right. With that, thank you all. You are free to roam.
Thank
See
you.
Very
See you
pleasant.
later, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.